uns, 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 uns. Hey, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Hey, chat. Can you see me and hear me? It's just gonna be me for a minute. Ox was having mad technical problems, and then he had to go take care of something, and he'll be back hopefully here in a few minutes. So I'm gonna be soloing until he gets back and fixes his microphone. So we decided we're so late at this point that he's got to take care of the thing that he's got to take care of that he didn't expect to happen so soon, and then stuff and stuff and stuff and more stuff. You know, typical tech talk. This is how we do, man. We like to keep you guys on your little tootsies. You know what I'm saying, right up on your tootsies. All right, let me open up ground control here so I can see the activity feed, because you always want to see your activity feed. You don't want to leave people hanging, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to leave people hanging. You always want to be seeing them when they're in here and stuff. Oh wow, we had a subscription from Short Creation Zero an hour ago. That was fairly random. Actually, well, no, we didn't even have a pre-show set up then. Oh, okay, whatever. That's cool. Cool beans. Okay, let me get rid of some of these windows I don't need. So control panel, I'm gonna move that over here. Gonna put that right there, and then I'm gonna take this panel over here. We had a subscription from Short Creation Zero an hour ago. That was fairly, why was that playing? That was weird. All right, let me kill that. Don't need that. All right, sorry for that loop back, guys. Let me close the extra stuff I don't need. DLSS windows open. All right, get rid of this. All right. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I think I can see you guys. I can hear you guys. Actually, can't hear you. I can just see you. But, you know, in my head, I hear you. What's up, Hunter Meyer? Anthony Mangione. What's up, Kevin? Czar Pro Stock. Kyle Bishop. Irene. Hey, Irene. It's always great to see you. It's always nice to see you, Irene. I'm so glad that you're doing better and that you're here in chat. That's amazing. That's hey, if you're here in chat, that's good news. That's good news. Hey, what's up, Gamers Unite? Sup, Bradley Smith? Got our first channel member in here talking. Bradley Smith never misses a show. Metalhead, Chris B. Just going through everybody. All right, I haven't even sent out the stream yet. You guys all shown up. That's awesome. Pixie Punk Craft, Eastside Shogun. Loving some of these names. Oh my God. Zorius Burrito, I see you. I see you, Zorius Burrito. And KDN and Blue Varo. There we got our second channel member in the house right now. Anthony Mangioso, what's up, sexy leader? Hey, I ain't leading shit, man. Don't put that on me. I ain't leading nothing. Hey, you guys want to check out my new coffee cup? Check this out. Courtesy of Mr. Kevlar Condom. Now I've got my my caffeine molecule right there on my cup. That is some delicious coffee. I do love me some caffeine, though, seriously. I don't know what I'd do without caffeine. Caffeine is like the perfect drug. Yeah, Czar, I saw that. Chuck Norris died. That's super sad. Chuck Norris didn't agree with the guy on religion and politics, but, you know, he was a big part of growing up, man. Chuck Norris was everywhere. As far as I know, other than, you know, the obvious flaws of being a Trump supporter, or at least he was at one point, you know, he seemed like he was a fairly decent dude. And do we know anymore right now? All I know is he was training in Hawaii. He was apparently in good health, and he was like training and doing his karate and stuff. And he seemed like, you know, the last video clips he posted within like a day or two of him dying, he seemed like he was fine. So they said there was like an accident or something. Like, did he get like kicked in the head or fall on his head or something? And then they said when he went to the hospital, he was like in good spirits. So he was obviously like conscious and like joking around. Did he die in surgery, or like, do we have any more information? Because I know last night when I checked before I went to bed, which was like, I don't know, 3 hours ago. Wait, he was 76? I could have sworn they said he was in his 80s. Oh, hold on here. How old was Chuck Norris when he died? All right, let's see here. How old was he? Yeah, 86 years old, Irene. He was 86. So, I think you were just one key over. Okay, you said 76. I think you meant to type 86. But yeah, Chuck Norris, action icon from Walker, Texas Ranger, in about every action movie ever shot in the 80s and the Expendables 2, I believe. Died at 86. This is an older article. Let me see if I can find one that's a little bit newer. And if you guys are just finding out about this from me right now, I apologize. This is not the proper way to be finding out about anybody died. No, AuxxZillary. AuxxZillary showing up. Don't worry, guys. AuxxZillary is going to be here. He He had to run away from his desk because somebody came over he wasn't expecting, and he's got to like go take care of business. And then he's going to come back and fix his mic problem, which is this whole time he's been trying to fix his mic problem. He can't, I can hear, or not mic problem, sorry, audio problem. He can't hear me, but it's on his side. We already troubleshot everything. It's on his side. So he's going to figure that out, but he had to run. He had like a bunch of stuff was happening. He said, hey, just so, as a matter of fact, he's getting right back in the seat right now. So he's going to start working on that audio problem. And as soon as we can hear him, as soon as he figures out the audio problem, we should be able, well, we'll be able to hear him. He won't be able to hear us. But as soon as he can hear us, he'll let us know. And then we'll know. So right now I am checking though. Video does say that I'm sending out an audio feed. So if I mute and unmute there, it says I'm sending it. I can see. Okay, so let me bring him back in since he's fiddling around. Because I'll be able to hear. No, I'll be able to hear him through the video page. Never mind. I just want to make sure that the microphone was on. Let me make sure the page isn't muted. Let's see here. Where's the mute? Yep, it's not muted. So yeah. Here, say something, Aux. Yeah, so he can't hear me right now for some reason. I can see him. I can see a little audio bar. Oh, I see a microphone moving, so I can hear him a little bit. So he's trying to figure it out, guys. He'll figure it out. So yeah, so he didn't die. He got a new job training angels that had to relocate. It's funny. Somebody already beat you that joke and sent it to me yesterday, and I'm like, why is somebody sending me a Chuck Norris joke out of nowhere? And then I found out after that he passed away. Yeah, it's not tech talk without tech problems. That's right, Gaming Matty rocks. Can't do the show without. Hey, what up, Vader? Luxurious nuts. So Jerry, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay.
I can hear you. Wait. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear myself. I'm not monitoring my mic.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can hear you, and you can hear me, but you can't get your live feedback. Gotcha.
Which is fine. That's fine. I mean, they're open back, so I can hear my own head.
You know what helps with it, because it bugs me too. What helps with it is just take one ear off like that. That's what I do, and then it helps with that. You don't get that weird muted side audio that makes you yell at the microphone.
There's something funny with. I'm glad you can still hear me because the mic is still going through the mixer, but there's something wonky with the mixer or my USB cable or something, because it just as I sat down, it pops up this thing. It says device error opening device. This can happen for a number of reasons. Check if there's an instance of the application beta or blah 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 blah. Bus error. DCP transfer in T status USB D status X act error. So
you have a bad cable, or maybe you're pulling too much power from one of the ports.
Something. So
that'll be one you'll have to track down. But yeah. Luckily I can hear you now. So what did you have to do ultimately so we could hear each other?
I just plugged my headphones directly into the motherboard line out.
Oh, everybody said you're a bit quiet. It's weird. I can hear you fine though. Let me check the levels in video.
I can bump myself a little. I'm on the mixer. I'm higher than I usually am.
Yeah, here bump yourself up some more. And I'm going to see where you land on global. Oh, now I can't hear you. What the hell? Just changing the volume killed it? Here, unplug that shit and plug it into a different port. Oh, now I can hear you. Plug it in a different port.
Oh,
there you go.
What? You hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you came back. So
don't do anything.
Okay, say something.
It's all fucking in and out. Oh,
yeah. Just unplug it and plug it into a different USB port, so it's on a different controller. All right, Wusa, we got this, bro. We've been through worse, man. We've been through worse. We got this. We got this. That beard, oh my god. Yeah, he's gonna switch over. I think his audio mixers just pull. It's we'll find out right now if it's a bad cable. It could be a bad port. It could be pulling too much power from the USB controller. But usually if that's the problem, you'll get a pop-up in Windows in the notification toast that says that your USB device has insufficient power. You're overloading the controller. And I don't think he saw that. But yeah, he is getting like weird USB errors that are messing with his controller. And if I remember right, he has a Go XLR. He just recently got a different Go XLR. So
before I forget.
Oh, hear an audio again. Okay, what do you forget? Let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna send out the stream. Why not? We're in good enough shape, right? To send out the stream.
That worked.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh,
you're there. I hear you. Oh my god.
Alive.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Awesome.
After years of picking on you for all of your tech breaking
right.
stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Never forget this day. Never.
Everybody write this one down.
Yeah.
It was all my fault this time.
this time I get a mulligan, bro.
This time.
Oh my god,
Sakes
dude.
alive.
Right? Because it's like it's always my fault. Always my fault. And then this time it's like, nope.
It's one time.
Uh-oh. Or no, oh wait, I clicked on the wrong link. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I
good. I'm like, I didn't do nothing this time.
Nope. So here, let me go back to my
though. So and if this does continue to work,
yeah, it's working wonderfully now.
There's different USB ports on the back, right? There's like you got your standard block of USB 3A, 3A, whatever, and then there is like a second block. I can't see exactly what it says, but they're like red, and I think those are like the higher power ones, and I usually do put the devices that I've like if it were the Cam Link or something, I would have put it into that. So that's probably it. And I don't even have that many USB devices plugged in right now. It's the mixer, the camera, and there was one other thing plugged in. Oh, and my mouse. That's
well, the mixer, you said your mixer's powered from the bus, like it doesn't have an external plugged-in power thing, or
it has a fucking power block too.
Oh, so you wouldn't think you'd be using like hardly anything then? That's weird,
right?
That is a little weird. Like I wouldn't have expected that. But yeah, now you're coming in like loud and clear. Even your volume level like is perfect right now. Like I don't know if you changed your volume after doing that, but
bring it down a little bit. Is that better?
No, your volume level I think is great. Unless people were saying you're too loud now.
No.
Here, just talk normally.
I'm talking normal. Like
you're about negative 12 dB, so you could probably stand to bring it up just a little bit more. Like bring it up to like -6.
Like that?
That's perfect. Yep. Now we're perfectly level. If I lean back at this distance, we're good. So you're good, bro.
What a job.
Dude, I could tell it was one of those things where it's like you were trying everything and nothing was working, and I could just see the frustration in your face. You're like, why is it doing it? It was so random too. I
don't fuss. I don't fiddle, right? Like everything just is. I have other devices for experimenting and playing around with. Like I don't mess with my main machine. I play video games and that's it basically. And do this. That's basically all I do on this machine. And so it's like when something goes sideways, it's not me at least. It's not a PEBCAC thing, right? It has to be hardware or software. So
now to be fair, you did tear your whole computer apart recently, right?
Yeah, but that was like a month ago now, I think.
I want to say that was like 2 weeks ago. Wasn't it like two weeks ago when you said that you couldn't do Tech Talk and I had to solo because your computer was in pieces? No, maybe it was three because I do remember you did one show with me in between. Yeah, no, you're right. It was 3.
I wasn't feeling good last week. Did the show prior, and then because David showed up, and then so 3 weeks, a month-ish. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if it's the same for you, but does it feel like time is just flying by like at an insane rate now?
Yes.
I'm starting to understand why old people seem to be like so slow and so leisurely, because like at their speed, how they're perceiving time, it's like us when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Sure. I am sure of it now. I used to have this theory that the older you get, the longer you've lived. So your time constant for your total sum of life just keeps getting longer and longer and longer to compare it to. So it feels like time goes faster because now you know what it's like to be alive for, say, like me, 46 years.
Yeah.
So I know that. I know what 46 years feels like, whereas like a 20-year-old obviously doesn't know that. So they can only compare to the 20 years. So I think as you get older, the perception of time actually speeds up.
For sure.
Because
it's like when you drive home from someplace, the trip seems to go faster than
100%.
When you go. I think it's the familiarity.
The familiarity. You're right.
So much of your life is like the same over and over and over again. So it just kind of blanks out, and you like this
last week, I wanted to stream on Twitch, and I kept getting sidetracked, and then I had problems with my back like usual. And I'm like, I looked yesterday, and it was like Friday, and that's when I messaged you. I was like, I didn't know it was Friday. I thought it was like Wednesday. Because my sleep schedule is so screwed up. Like I don't sleep at a normal time. I sleep when my body allows me to sleep. So sometimes it's like a couple of naps. Sometimes I just skip the entire day, and then I have to make up for it. Like a couple days later, I'll sleep for like 12 hours instead of 6. Oof. But my sleep schedule is super screwed up. Like last night, I only went to sleep for about an hour. So which is pretty typical before Tech Talk. I usually only do about an hour. And it's weird because I get like an anxiety before I do Tech Talk every week. And it's not the anxiety of doing the tech talk. It's not the viewers. It's not you, because I love doing this. Like when I find out you can't be on tech talk, I want to just give up and throw in the towel. You're my tech talk bro. Seriously. But for me, once I get going, I absolutely love everything about this. Like I want to just do this all the time. And that's why I usually go like 3 hours over when my back can handle it. Right.
Right.
But it's like getting to the point, I get this anxiety and it doesn't let me sleep. No matter how hard I try to sleep, it doesn't matter. I can take Ambien. I can take like last night. I don't drink. I don't drink because my liver's got enzyme issues. Well, my wife bought a 4-pack of Guinness and only needed one of them to make the stew that she was making. So I saw these Guinnesses in the fridge and I was like, man, I am just so stressed out. I haven't had beer in forever. So I poured myself a nice big old 32-ouncer of Guinness. Oh. And I chugged that sumbitch down in about 15 minutes. Like, by the way, I've never had Guinness. This is my first time ever having Guinness. That is some delicious ass beer. Like I have never had Guinness. I always thought that people are like, oh, it's really thick, it's hearty, it's like a milkshake. No, I didn't get that at all. It was like super chuggable, didn't have any burn on the backside. The nitrogen bubbles are really smooth.
There are I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what category of beer Guinness falls under, but there are some like porters that, dude, it's like drinking chocolate milk.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them where it's like
and
thick.
It's got that kind of thicker mouthfeel to it. Or like there's like oat stouts that is
Guinness
like,
wasn't anything like I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
like the way it looks, like when they pour it, like with like the nitrogen head on and stuff, it just always looks like really thick and like it wasn't like that at all for me. It was very easy to drink.
It's pretty light for a dark beer like that. Yeah,
dude, I chugged 32 ounces. I'm like, I'm prepared, right? I haven't drank in like a year. The last thing I had was like a Mike's Hard Lemonade like 12 months ago, right? So I'm bracing for like a good buzz, right? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Not even the slightest buzz. I could have passed like a field sobriety test and taken an IQ test. Nothing. Not only that, it didn't even make me tired. I still couldn't get to sleep. I was like, how the hell is this possible? Like I used to like drink anything, like even like a little thing of Benadryl with the alcohol in it or whatever. Like not Benadryl, but like that NyQuil. Remember the old style NyQuil that had the 10% alcohol in it? Yep. I'd take that shit. It would knock me out like a tranquilizer dart. Now I feel like I could just drink the whole bottle and it would do nothing.
Dang.
But the problem with alcohol is it's based on blood volume. And when you're as heavy as I am, now granted, I'm 30 pounds down from where I was when I started, but it's still a lot of blood. Like there's a lot of blood in this big ass bag, right? So 32 ounces of beer, which a normal person probably get a little bit of a buzz off that, right? And I got nothing. Dude, I couldn't even tell you I drank anything. Like it was such a weird thing. I was like bracing for not like crazy, right? Like I know my tolerance from like way back in the day, even when I was like a lot lighter. But it's like now there's nothing. I don't know what percentages in Guinness, but I drank 2 16-ounce Guinnesses poured into this giant ass cup. Like it was a mason jar, glass mason jar, ice cold. And I just chugged that shit down like 15 minutes. It was like 3 swigs, right? Gone.
Wow.
And I'm like, yep, I'm going to be sleeping good tonight. Nope. Nothing.
Nope.
Absolutely nothing. It was really wild. Alcohol can become a stimulant a while after drinking. That's kind of, well, I wouldn't say it was like a stimulant either, because I didn't feel any different than when I usually stay up before Tech Talk. It just had like no effect at all. It didn't stimulate me. It didn't mellow me out. It just nothing. And then on Tech Talk nights, I purposefully don't take any sleep aid. I don't take Benadryl. I don't take anything. No NyQuil, no Ambien. I have like all the sleep shit I need for when I have to force myself to sleep because something really important. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't take any before Tech Talk because I don't want to wake up and be a zombie. So I'd rather just get an hour of sleep. And then like right now, I feel like completely awake. Like even after an hour of sleep, I still feel like completely fresh. And the nice thing about it is now I'll go to sleep like at 2 or 3 a.m. instead of 7 or 8 a.m. tonight, just because I only got an hour of sleep. It'll catch up with me later. But yeah, it's not a healthy way to live. I don't do this because I want to. I do it because my fucking back pain doesn't allow me to sleep when I want to sleep. But right now I have 4 fresh electrodes applied to the back of my legs and right above the small of my back, shocking the shit out of the sciatic nerve, before it goes in and when it comes out of the SI joint on both sides. And it feels marvelous. So if you guys notice, I'm sitting more upright, not leaning on the desk as much as I used to. It's because I have like a TENS device just shocking the ever-living piss out of me right now. And it's funny because when you first start it, every time it's like, wow, because it like makes your muscles do this a little bit. So it's like I joked with my wife the other day because I put them on the back of my legs and I had them in this position where when I turned the power up too high, it'd make me do thrusts. So when I relax standing up, I'm just sitting there doing hip thrusts. And I looked at my wife and I said, hey, look, autopilot. I said, you, me, room tonight, right? Autopilot. And she just looked at me and she goes, yeah, that's not fast enough for me. And I started laughing. But yeah, like it makes your muscles contract. So you have to find that sweet spot of power where it's not making your muscles contract, but it's still numbing the nerve. And finding the right pad placement and power setting for that is like difficult. So it took quite a few tries this morning to get them in the right spot. But now they're under my clothing. Like I have everything concealed. I have the thing in my pocket. The wires have stress relief going down to their 4 independent pads. And I got these big long pads too. So yeah, I'm actually pretty mobile now. Like I can actually get up and walk around. So when I go do, I'm going to go to Whale Land in 2 months with Hobbs for 2 days.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just going to take a shitload of 9-volt batteries in my TENS device and just shock the piss out of myself the whole time I'm there. And I think that's going to help out a lot. DeWolfsden, said, oh, thank you for the $10, dude. Seriously. Woo! Yeah.
I don't think any of my buttons work.
I got a random sound. Listen, I found this other day. I don't even know where it came from. It's like, it's so weird, dude. It just like it randomly showed up on my board, so I'm using it. He said, performance anxiety isn't just for the bedroom. I used to have anxiety issues before streams as well, but once you get stuck in, you're good. Glad to have you on, brother. Oh, thank you, man. And the weird thing is, it's like, I don't even think it's performance anxiety. I don't know what it is. It might be maybe excitement, maybe just like I don't want to be asleep. And I know that if I sleep, I'm going to be groggy and exhausted. Maybe that's it. I don't know what it is, but I just could not sleep before Tech Talk. Like I just lay there. And I just stare at the ceiling and I toss and turn and I'll sit there and I'll cuddle up to my wife. Then she gets hot and then I stop cuddling with her and I'm like, come on, go to sleep, damn it. And my mind is just racing. Like, I don't know if you do this, but I have my iPhone notes app always open so I can easily just flip to it. And I'll just be laying in bed trying to get to sleep. And I think of the craziest shit when I'm trying to fall asleep because my brain kicks into overdrive. And then I just write down all my ideas in the notepad. And then a couple days later, I start digging around on my notes and I start finding all these things I forgot to write down. And a lot of them are good ideas that I end up actually doing. So really, really good idea. Like if you're one of those people where it's like you lay in bed and your mind's just going 1,000 miles an hour and the next day you forget about everything you were thinking about before you went to bed, having that little notebook is like really, really good. You can also have Siri take notes too, which is nice. Yeah. So you can just tell her to take the notes if you want to. If you don't, I normally just do it by hand because I don't want to wake up my wife when she's sleeping. But if I'm all alone in the area, I just yell at the phone, tell it to take notes for me, and then I just translate it the next day and figure it out. The Metalhead Man said, does something like white noise or soft music help? Yeah, actually turning on the TV and just having a YouTube video playing in the background allows me to get to sleep a lot easier than dead silence.
Same. I listen to like audiobook or podcast or something.
Same with my wife. She always has an earbud in playing some kind of audiobook, and it's usually some trash novel. Dude, I don't know what it is, man, but like women and men, it's like, you know how men get like in their teens and their 20s sexually? Yeah. I feel like women get to that point when they're in their 40s. Like shit just starts peaking out of nowhere. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was like heated rivalry that set this shit off or what it. Some event happened now. My wife's just like chasing me around the house and I'm like hiding from her. Like it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's a really good problem to have. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's like I'm like, where did this come from? Like where was this when I was in my 20s? Right. Like seriously, man. I could have given you a run for your money back in my 20s. Now I'm like, God, please back. Just get me through another day. Don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Let's see here. Gamers Unite said, have you tried the iPhone background sounds? I haven't actually. There's quite a few, and I personally use the rain sound. I actually have a friend that created an app that's in the App Store. God, I forget the name of it. I haven't used it in so long. But it literally is just an app that generates procedural, like, background music. And you just open it, and it just you basically select, like, you know, how much cowbell you want, and how much like rain noises and ocean noise, and it mixes them all together and it creates like a unique sound, which is really cool. Hey, Retro My Bits, thank you for the $5, dude. Yeah, and the crowd goes wild. Woo! Love it, brother. He said, "Hola, mi familia." Is that hello, my family? Is my Spanish good there? Sí, señor. We need a truffle shuffle button. Hey, with this TENS device, it might be possible. Zeno said they have the same problem. Let's see here. A trash novel, or she is listening to Gilmore Girls? No, she used to listen to Gilmore Girls. It used to be Netflix and Gilmore Girls every night before she went to bed. But no, now it's like I don't even know if I can repeat some of the shit she like told me from these novels. Like it's not your regular romance, like, you know, Harry met Sally and they, you know, walked on the beach and diddled. No, this is like a whole nother level of like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like I didn't know that women had this kink. Like I did not understand it until she hit this phase. And now she's got like 100 books on her nightstand and a Kindle with probably another 5,000 books on there. She reads, her reading level is insane. She can burn through literally like 9 books in a week.
Wow.
Like read in like an entire book and then still want to like bite into another one. And these are books that are like 150, 200 pages, but she still just burns through them. Like just burns them down. Yeah. And so I asked her, I was like, how many books you read last year? Because she keeps track or whatever. And it was like 390 or 400. It was something really high. And I was like, wait a second, that's more than a book a day. And she's like, oh, no, it's not. You know, sometimes I read 2-3 books on one day and then I don't read a whole book the other day. It's like, oh, Bipolar Bear, thank you so much for the $25 Enos. Yeah, woo! I'm going to drink some coffee. Oh, did you see my new mug, dude? Check this out.
Well, let me see your new
You
mug.
like that? My little caffeine molecule?
Nice.
Look at
Nice.
that. That way you know what's in the cup, man. Mega Chick Snuff model. Novel. Oh my God, Anthony.
I don't know about snuff.
Yeah, maybe not that bad, dude. I look into the horny woman's psyche. Oh yeah, and do be horny. Just oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Like I actually used to be like, oh, it's weird. Like I always thought that, and I got the wrong impression clearly. But I always thought it was like men were more physical creatures and women were more emotional creatures, like when it comes to like connections. And then as you're together, you meet in the middle. Like one, you kind of like align with each other over time. And then you kind of like become inseparable. Like if things work out, correctly and everything fits, then boom, that's where you go. But no, it's like the complete opposite. It just keeps going. It's like we're like up here, they're down here, and then it's like they pass you, and then it's like, oh my God, please let me sleep, leave me alone, God damn. And then you're like, oh, what are you reading over there? And it's like you unplug the Bluetooth headphone. It's like, oh, the wildebeest with 75 dicks walks into the woods, dribbling all over the ground as the pixie flies up its butt. You're like, what the shit is going on here? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's not far off.
Yeah, no,
like it's like
some of it is
And then all the different names, like I asked my wife, I probably shouldn't have asked this question, but I'm like, oh, so like, what are the names of all these genres? Because like with porn, there's genres, right? They got like, you got the BBW, which is, a personal favorite of mine. I'm a little bit of a chubby chaser. And you got all these like different categories. So I'm like, what are the categories of novels? And she just starts going through naming off all these things that like just the things the names imply. I'm like, holy shit. And she's like, yeah, there's age gap, and then there's this, and then there's like stuff with like religious iconology, and then there's this. And it's like, there's everything you could possibly think of, and about 90% more you can't.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, there's like people making this shit and selling it, and women are buying it. So she's like, yeah, absolutely.
It is. So it used to be, romance as a broad genre is still the highest selling genre of books. Like out there, but lately I'd say in the last like maybe 5-ish 10-ish years, it's really blown up in romantasy, they call it. It's usually like
what's that?
Like think like a cross between 50 Shades of Grey and Game of Thrones, but then mix a little bit of like, there's also there's like the werewolf and vampire stuff, there's like fae sort of angles to it, like, oh, discovered that I'm like half fairy or whatever, and like I'm the what's the word I'm trying to reach for? Dang it, the heir to some court of fairies and stuff and that kind of stuff. It's like really out there stuff. Well, I mean,
my wife paused and I said, hey, tell me about what you're reading right now, like the chapter you're on. And it was like some dude, and maybe there's somebody in here that's read this book before, but it's like some dude in a bakery who turns his hands into muffins, and his like emissions are the frosting, and he like feeds them to the other person at this bakery, and then they get like some kind of superpowers from it, and like supercharge them. And somebody like comes into the bakery and tries to hold it up, and he like turns his hands into like something else and like beats the shit out of him with it, and then he's like saves the day. It was something along those lines. I'm sure I'm like butchering it really bad, but I'm like, wait a second, did I read that right? His hands turned into muffins? She's like, oh yeah, he's a morph. He's a metamorph. I'm like, what the fuck's a metamorph? A shapeshifter. I'm like, wait, there's shapeshifter porn? Yeah, that's like really big. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
That's a whole genre, shapeshifting. There's also age gap, right? Where it's like 20-year-old and 50 or 60-year-old. Apparently, like women are super into the age gap thing. Not all. I shouldn't say all. Like everybody has their interest. But this is like stuff that she had like no interest in at all, like 5 or 10 years ago. Like honestly, she wouldn't pick up a book like that now. She just read regular like stories and like fantasy and stuff like that, but nothing like that. Yeah. And now she's like in a group with like her friends. Their friends all do it too. Like all of her friends are into it too. And it's not like this one little closeted thing. It's like everybody does it. They're just not super public about it.
Or they're real on the sly. Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say my wife's on the slide. She puts it all over her Facebook all the time and like posts the books she's reading and shit. So I wouldn't say she's on the slide.
Surprising. I mean, to me, it's a natural progression from like 50 Shades of Grey was ridiculously popular, and like.
Yeah, my wife was like 10 years ago. It was 50 Shades of Grey. That was the apex.
And yeah.
And now it's like, no, that's nothing. That's kids play. Like 50 Shades. God, that's a kid wrote that shit. What are you talking about?
Right.
And then there's like these groups where they go write reviews, and the authors give them like early access to their books when they write these reviews. And so my wife's written so many reviews at this point. Like she writes like 3 of them a day, just like sitting in bed while I'm watching TV. She just writes these reviews. She's written so many of them now that like there's tons of these publishers that actually now are in her DMs and talking to her one-on-one, like these published authors. And they're sending her like, copies of like Watermark, Don't Share This, books for her to read and give commentary on before they go public. And I'm like, really? ARCs, that's what it is. ARCs. Yep.
Advanced reader copies.
That's it. And she said that the more that you get into it, like the more ARCs that you get. And then when you're in an ARC, like you can get shit before anybody else and you get all kinds of perks and stuff. And I was like, I had no idea that this world existed. Yeah. This was like crazy.
I think it really started getting more public, like book talk, right? There's like a whole genre on TikTok of like, book readers like that. A Court of Rose and Thorns is another really big, popular one.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that title. So she definitely has read that one.
There's like it's a fat series. That's like I think that's just the first one. And it's weird what you bump into when you're chronically online.
Yeah, I just know one day I was like, hey, what are you reading about this time? Or she's like, oh, I'm reading a book about like this ogre that just walks around and like gets a smell all over everything. He's just like dripping everywhere he goes, and he never stops dripping. I'm like, whoa, somebody wrote that? And she's like, yeah, it's hot. I'm like, and then I look in the mirror and I'm like, I get why she likes me now. I get why she likes me. I'm her ogre. I get it.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, some of it's not for me, but I'm not one to kink shame or whatever.
It's definitely not for me, but I like the end result. Like I love that she like literally like she's like a kid again. It's fun to see that, like where it's like now she's got so much of her energy back. She's so much more happy and giddy and just a lot more fun and less serious. Like there was a whole phase when we had Xander where she got super, super serious, and she still is when she needs to be mom mode, right? Yeah, but it's like now I feel like this side of her has allowed her to cut loose a lot more, and because of her friends are into the same thing, it's kind of been like a new bonding thing with her friends, and they're all in these groups and do these ARC things and have like these like they go and do their secret DM meetings and do these video chats where they talk about their book clubs and stuff, and it's just like I love it. I absolutely love it because it's like boom, she found a hobby. It makes her feel good. It makes her happy. She likes me a hell of a lot more and tolerates me a lot better. It's like nothing bad can come of this. It's awesome. Yeah. And then the other flip side, but it's just so weird because it's like all the time it's like because she knows I look at porn. She's always known I looked at porn. Like she's never had a problem with it. She understands the whole human condition, right? We don't play the whole fucking Puritan, religious bullshit.
Sure.
And she's always known that, but I'm always like, but she's never really been into that. But this is that for her. Like now I realize that she has more of a mental picture, like her imagination when she's reading books. She said she can visualize better than watching it on a TV. She said it's like you're there. Like and I can't do that. I don't have that level of imagination, so I need somebody else to do it for me and record it. And then I can fucking flip through it, fast forward 30 seconds at a time. And then in 45 seconds, I watch 2 hours of Pirates, and I still ain't never seen the whole movie. So I still don't know what it's about. There's some skeletons at one point, but I just fast forward past them. But I think that's cool. I think that's like super cool. That's super healthy. The end result is a lot better. And it's just, and I love it because I don't just see it her. It's like even her friends and stuff, just the way that they get like so perked up over it. Like the show Heated Rivalry blew shit up. Sure. Like that show, like I bet you my wife's watched every episode of that at least a dozen times. All of her friends and stuff go back and rewatch the episodes and talk about the things that they missed and like, oh, maybe this is going on. Maybe this side arc is happening. And, and it's just, it's cool to watch. I actually really, really enjoy it. I don't know. Anybody in here, have you noticed you got a wife that's like, I don't know, 35, plus in age that suddenly went from like mom mode to just like getting a stack of really weird titled books on her nightstand, like pucking around. My wife has this book. I noticed it one day. I look over and it's called Pucking Around, and it's a hockey book, kind of like Heated Rivalry. I don't know if it's even related. It might even be related to the show. I don't know. But it's like instead of fucking around, it's pucking around.
Yeah.
And it's got like the hockey players on the front. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, I get it. And she's like, oh, no, that was a really good book. So there you go. If you want a recommendation, Pucking Around apparently is a really good book. So go give that a shot. I just got a message. Let's see here. Perfect. Hold on here. I gotta reply really quick.
Okay.
My wife's just telling me what she's up to. Luckily, she's not watching the stream. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. She's reading. I said we're talking about romance novels right now. You'll have to watch the VOD later. Wink. She'll be like, why are you telling people? No, I'm just kidding. She posts this shit herself.
Nah.
Like
yeah, of course.
For the arcs and stuff, that's all public because the authors want you to publish your reviews and others. So she publishes all of her reviews and everything publicly on her Facebook and all of her other things in the groups that they have. So yeah, there's absolutely like nothing hidden there. People should have a healthy imagination like that. Like that's one of those things that it's like when that's not happening, I get worried because I'm like, you need to be able to have an imagination. You need to be able to have fantasies. You need to be able to have like that mental outlet to like de-stress and be happy. And it's like a lot of people deny them that shit because they've just been programmed to deny themselves that shit. And then they just get angry and they get pent up and they get upset.
Yep.
And then ain't nobody want to be around them. It's like, no, let that shit fly. It's like, let your freak fly, man. Let your freak fly.
Yeah.
By the way, did I send out? Can somebody confirm I sent out the stream? Right? I want to make sure I actually tweeted it out and everything. Did I?
I was unavailable at the moment.
Yeah,
so I don't know for sure.
I tend to forget. I think I did, but for some reason I'm like drawing a blank on that. Oh no, I did. I never mind. I just saw Anthony Mangione retweeted when I opened it. Okay, never mind. We're good.
Nice.
We're good. Anthony, thank you for the retweet. Super appreciate it when you guys share stuff so it gets out there. It's the only way people find us because in this new world, it's like so flooded with AI now. Like nobody will find us that doesn't already know we exist. It's wild. As a matter of fact, I created a new X account the other day. Doing some experiments. I won't say what, but I've created a couple new X accounts. And even after following like 100 other accounts and posting like 20 times, not a single follower, not a single read, not a single view, nothing. It's completely dead. So if you create if you're not already on an established account on X and you're just creating a new account from scratch, unless somebody knows you created the account and followed you back and you interact with them and you're just starting from scratch trying to find people to talk to, good fucking luck. They won't see anything you type. Like you are literally hidden. It's fucking wild. Oh, she said, okay, I will. She's gonna watch it. By the way, if you guys aren't using, if you're on Windows and you're not using Phone Link, you're doing yourself an injustice. Phone Link is one of the coolest things Microsoft has made in a very long time. And it was buggy as fuck at first, but it is so much better now. If you have Android or iPhone, it doesn't matter. You connect it via Bluetooth to Windows 11. In Windows 11, all your SMS messages pop up as a notification toast on your computer. You can click on it and respond and send messages back and forth, both group and single. The only thing is it doesn't support media, so you can't do images yet, but you can do text back and forth, and it's all through Windows. It's basically sending the shit via Bluetooth to the phone and then out to the cellular network. So it's using, and you can also do some other stuff too, like you can go through your contacts list, any notifications that pop up on the phone, like from the apps, apps register notifications. Those will show up in the notifications list. So like I can click on my Phone Link right now and opened up and it's like, oh, my notifications. It says, oh, it just detected that my wife walked outside on the porch. It detected she's in the driveway. It detected she's leaving the driveway. I've got a really smart camera system. Like it's almost a little too smart for its own good. Put it this way, it eats up 2 terabytes of space every 4 days.
Woo.
That's like how much shit's being recorded and gone through and extra data and everything like that. And that's not even counting like the Ring doorbell. That's just the peripheral security like camera system. So it's a lot of data, dude. As a matter of fact, I need to take some time to configure it to offload to the NAS so that I can get more than 4 days. Because 4 days isn't enough. Sometimes you find out shit further than 4 days out and you want to go back and look. But yeah, it's showing me all the detections or my notifications coming directly from the phone, the MSN app, News, Apple News. It's sending me notifications and you click on it and it basically, if there's a link associated, it'll take you to the page. But any of the notifications I see on my phone show up here. I can do all the messages. And you can also do calls. You can literally call somebody on your computer with your headset and your microphone. I don't think you can do video on iPhone. On Android, I think you can. But you can dial a number. You can click a contact and say call. You can call back a missed call. And it'll route it through the phone. So like you're talking through your microphone, it's sending that through Bluetooth to the phone and then out to the caller. So you're actually using the cellular network, but you're doing everything through your computer, which is really cool. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. They update it constantly. Like there's a new version of it that comes out probably every like 3 weeks. And they put bug fixes, add new features regularly. And it didn't work very well last year. Now it works really good. Oh, and it tells you like how charged your phone is. Like right now it says my phone's 93%. It tells you what's connected. If something disconnects, you just hit reconnect and it just reconnects the Bluetooth stack. You got your whole message history. So like even when it connects, it'll like send the message history from your phone to the computer so you can see all the messages that you missed. And it's all it is like once you get in range of the computer, it just automatically happens. And then when you walk away from the computer, it disconnects. And it does it all seamlessly. You don't have to like connect and disconnect. And then the latest version of Windows 11, they now have, when you open the start menu, if you have your phone set up in Phone Link, it has an extra panel now. So when you click the start menu, it brings up the start menu. And then next to the menu, it says Jerry's iPhone, connected Bluetooth, 93%. And then I can click messages or calls to see my messages or call someone. And then my last 3 most recent events are at the bottom. So like right now, it says my wife messaged me. So I can click on that. It opens up Phone Link and takes me to her message. So yeah, it's a great app. So yeah, if you guys aren't using that, that's definitely a hidden gem. I don't know if it's built into Windows or if you have to download it from the Microsoft Store. That part I don't remember because it's been so long since I've actually installed it. And you can have it on everything too. Like I have it on my laptop, I have it on my computer. So if I'm in range of the laptop, if I open my laptop and open it up, boom, my phone just connects to it, and it's the same thing. If I get a message, it's just right there. So it can connect to Bluetooth to multiple devices and everything. It's fantastic, man. I fucking love it. Dangerous Brian said, did you know that Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander Harris on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, passed away yesterday? No, I didn't know that. That's sad.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, Chuck Norris also passed away. Did you see that?
Yes, yeah.
86 years old, the dude. And he literally just posted a video, I think it was a day or two before he died, that was him in Hawaii training, doing like full-on karate, full fighting with the guy who was in a full suit, with the pads. And he looked he looked healthy and active as shit. So I haven't seen any details though of what happened. All I know is there's an emergency. He went to the hospital. They said he was in good. He was like in good spirits, like when he was in the hospital. So that implies that he was like awake and talking. And then they just said he passed away. It's like it's so weird. And the family's not releasing any other information. So it's like we have no idea. Like were they training? Did he get kicked in the head? Did he fall off something and bash? Like something happened where he was still conscious at the hospital, but then he ultimately died. That's wild, man. Because Chuck Norris, like he became a legend because of the jokes, right? He was like the action hero, but then everybody created like the jokes, like Chuck Norris' face was going to be on what's the mountain with all the presidents' faces on it? Mount Rushmore. Yeah. So it's like they were going to put his face on Mount Rushmore, but the granite wasn't hard enough for his beard or something like that. Yeah. It's like there's so many.
Sleep he waits.
Yeah. What is it? Oh yeah, the most famous one that he even told himself in the Expendables is he said. Or one of the guys says, "Hey, I heard that you got bit by a cobra," and he goes, "Yeah." And after 5 long nights, the cobra died.
Yeah.
So it's like, he like embraced the whole thing. Like I was saying to people earlier when we were talking about when you were away, when they brought it up, I was like, I'm not a big fan of Chuck Norris's religious views or politics, but as far as being a decent person, he seemed like he lived a good life and he was a fairly decent person. Like. I haven't seen a lot of complaints about the guy. I haven't seen a lot of people that had bad relationships with him. He seemed like he was generally well accepted throughout Hollywood and everything like that. So I think overall, from what I've seen, he was probably a pretty decent dude. And it seemed like his family liked him a lot. Even I think even his ex-wife was on decent terms with him. So, that's a hard thing to do sometimes. So I was like, hey, but that's sad, dude. It's like fucking legend like that. I didn't know he was 86 though. That makes you feel old.
Yeah.
Because I grew up watching this guy in like Walker, Texas Ranger, doing all the movies. And, dude was literally in every 80s action movie, like every single one. Right. And I think the last thing I saw him in was Expendables, like Expendables 2. And he actually looked really good in Expendables 2. I don't know how old that movie is now. I'll probably find out it's like 15 years old or something. Because now they're like, what, Expendables 4 or 5 or something like that?
Yeah, something. There's a bunch of them.
Anthony said Chuck Norris once visited the Virgin Islands. Now the people call them the Islands. Yeah. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one before. Yeah, sadly, Chuck was full MAGA. That's why I said, I don't agree with his political views. But here's the thing. He's hardcore Christian. And that tends to steer people to MAGA by default because they abuse Christianity, right? They're not Christian. They pretend to be. And then because they're the only ones pretending to be, that's the one that if you're Christian, that's the one you have to support. Otherwise, people don't see you as a true Christian. It's really fucking stupid. It's just brainwashing bullshit. Don't got to get into it. But even said, it's like I know people that are mega that still have done good things, like are capable of good things, charity and stuff like that. But the vast majority of them are absolutely fucking terrible. Like Kevin Sorbo and the absolute like I used to love that guy in Hercules and all these shows. He always played the hero, right? But in real life, he's just a fucking monster. John Voight, you know, now to his credit, he usually played villains, which he is in real life. So it's like yeah, there's a lot of the mega actors really bad, but then there were some that just, you know, they just were that position just because of their Christianity.
Right.
But then again, you know, Chuck, I think just he got sucked into that whole thing because of his Christianity. Chuck Norris was born in 1945. The Nazis surrendered the day he was born.
Oh, we got a question from a super chat here.
Oh,
It's a good question for Tech Talk. Which AI model is best for getting a straight answer? I think that was just a bit of a typo. A straight answer, Grok, Claude, or Gemini. I put it in the chat. I said a locally hosted Olama or other open source model.
So here's the thing. That's the ethical way to go for sure. If you are using any personal data in your questions at all, local LLM all the way. You got to host it. You got to, even if it's on your memory, your system's memory, and you get like 1 token a second, whatever, just do it locally. But if you're not worried about local data and you're just processing stuff that's public, like having, you know, looking at stuff on websites, looking at news and like taking that stuff and aggregating it, Claude, it's freaking amazing. Sonnet and Opus, Haiku's not that great, but Sonnet and Opus, fantastic. Do not use Grok for any information source. Grok is so heavily biased out of the gate with its training because it puts so much priority on the zeitgeist on X over actual legitimate verified information sources that it tends to give you a lot of, put it this way, it's the only AI that if you ask if Elon Musk is a good father, it says yes. Every other AI is like, no, here's why. Grok is like, no, he's a fantastic dad. Look at all the things he's done for his children, how amazingly lucky they are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, Grok is fucked for that. So don't use Grok for anything newsworthy. But if you're coding, Grok is probably 4th or 5th, and it can hold its own okay. I'll tell you what, though, if you are coding, if you're doing anything with software development, either planning or actual coding, Claude Opus 4.6, the best. It is the closest thing I've ever seen to just having a heavily skilled developer on the payroll that you just tell them to do shit and they figure it out. Nice. It has written some of the most complex code. And I mean, it even defeats shit. Like I told Opus I wanted to create something. I'm not going to say what it is because it's technically in violation of TOS of a certain site. But it was able to circumvent all of their bot detection entirely. And it's heavy bot detection. Like if you sneeze on it wrong, the site immediately suspects you and suspends your account. And I got it to bypass all of that and actually register as human. Everything down to how it clicks on buttons and how it types to give the illusion of like the pauses and stuff that a human would have reaching for different keys. It's that sophisticated. And it coded this all itself. So, and I even told it, like I told it the goal was to defeat the bot detection. It's like, yeah, I can do that for you. And it did. So yeah, but I will tell you this, you get what you pay for. Claude is exceptionally expensive for Opus. Like you can easily spend, $60 to $100 a day using open code if you're programming a big project. Yikes. So yeah, very, very expensive. Like that's one you don't really fuck with unless you got a guy like I do, old tech brew boss there in chat. What's up, bro? So Claude 4.6 is the absolute king at the top of everything for planning and coding. But for like surfing the web and pulling information from the web and processing information from the web and thinking and stuff, I would say Gemini is probably one of the better ones. Plus it's free. There's a free plan. You get just Gemini through it's gemini.google.com. And you just sign in with a Google account, any Gmail account, and boom, you basically get like so many free credits that you can just use every single day or tokens. And it's actually a pretty generous amount. You can do quite a bit with it. But that's really good for like aggregating data. GPT sucks. ChatGPT is fucking garbage. A lot of people don't agree with me on that, but I with generally garbage. It does everything
with you. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not exceptional
I'm
in any area.
Thinking of swapping my sub over from GPT to just straight up Claude. But I got like 2 years free of Perplexity, which kind of you can have access to a bunch of different models. Yep. Just for having a Samsung phone. So I might just.
Oh, really? Gemini. Yeah, I know if you have a Google Pixel, you get like a year or two of Gemini for free. I didn't know that they were doing Perplexity.
Here I actually have the
Perplexity actually has the new Nematron 3 model from Nvidia. I haven't played with that one yet, so I can't speak to that. But it does have 4.6.
So I got Sonar, which is their own model, GPT 5.4, Gemini 3.1 Pro, Sonnet 4.6, and then the Nemotron thing. Yeah. So I'm thinking I might just let that go and stop my GPT subscription.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like they have Sonnet.
For Claude. I'm
not
sure.
They have 4.6 Sonnet. They have Opus 4.6. They have Gemini 3.1 Pro and the newest GPT 5.4. So
for Opus though, you have to pay for their
max, you do? Okay.
Max subscription, and it's like $200 a month. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm not.
And I understand why now. I understand why. Like I burned like 80 million tokens in like 3 days of playing with Opus. Like it was insane. Like I felt so bad. Like tech. Although, hey, I will say this: Tech Brew Boss. Last night I was playing with Klein in Visual Studio, and if you go look at the token usage compared to Opus under when I was using Kimi 2.5 through Klein. Like literally, I was using like 180,000 tokens was the highest it ever got for like the context, whereas Opus was going over 400,000 per prompt. Like it's mind blowing. So I'll tell you right now, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want to get 95% of what Opus does, just use Kimi 2.5. It's actually really, really good. But yeah, we got to figure out what the deal is because there's no fucking way Opus. If Opus is truly that expensive, that's just fucking insane. Jim the Evo said I threw ChatGPT away for Claude a month back. It's better. Claude is amazing. Yeah. Claude is absolutely amazing. The only thing I don't like about Claude is one, the expense with Opus. But it just does. It has so many issues with open code. And I love open code. Like I really love using open code. But it has a lot of issues where like sometimes it'll build up too many tokens. Sometimes it'll overload the context and then it'll just keep trying the same thing over and over again like a dumbass. And you have to do all these little hacky workarounds and shit to like get it to be smooth and not just chug tokens. But I will tell you this, like open code eats tokens like a motherfucker. But if you're using a cheap model, it's not that big of a deal.
How would you describe what is tokens?
Okay, a token is a word, basically.
Like I have an understanding. Whoops, I just kicked my fucking mouse to the ground. It's like, well, it's not just a word. It's more like a block of response, I suppose, or like a thinking.
So this is how tokens are measured in LLMs. A token is either a single word. A token is either a single word or a commonly used phrase, a small commonly used phrase. Okay, because what it's doing is it's grouping together text, spaces included. It's grouping together common text, and the more common it is, the more it's grouped. But that when you're estimating token use, it's usually acceptable to say a word is a token. Like that's why it's always an estimate. It's never going to be perfect, right? Because the model might use some tokens that you get 3 words for a token. But for the most part, when you're estimating high, each word is a token. And that's going out and coming back. You have to remember that when you're sending a prompt to a model, everything you put in that prompt is a token also. So if you send your entire source code file in a prompt to the AI, and then it responds back to you from what you sent that prompt, the total tokens consumed is the sum of the two. So if you sent 100,000 tokens, they sent 200,000 back, you consume 300,000 tokens, basically. And then the models also have another thing, which is parameters. And I believe parameters is like the retention, the memory, right? Like how many things the model can remember
before context window.
Yeah. It's like they call it context or parameters, right? Like actually, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that because I just looked at this the other day and I already forgot. It's like here, is context the same as parameters in LLMs? Not what are parameters versus context?
Termux on Android
because tokens
a terminal emulator.
Okay, let's see. I'll get this right. So parameters are the knowledge wiring. So parameters are the internal weights of the model. That's what it is, the weights of the model. So they're created during the training to determine how the model thinks. So
and that's where you'll see like Olama 3 or whatever, and they'll say 40B.
Yeah, 40 billion parameters. Yeah. And the more parameters generally, not always, depends on the training data, but generally means you're going to get a better response, a higher quality response. And then context is how many tokens it can hold in memory. So if a model has a context of say 400,000 tokens, that means it can only remember at any given time in a context of a conversation 400,000 tokens. And generally the way it works, it's configurable for most models, but it's rolling. Whatever you said first goes out of memory. So
that's how you'll start getting shitty responses. Like you'll start off with a big paragraph of like, I want you to act like this, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Here's all your guardrails and your rules of how this conversation is going to go. But if it goes for too long, it forgets. It
exactly
that disappears. It doesn't, and so you'll start getting bad responses and stuff.
So the way that they combat that is with something called compaction. And what and like for instance, the model, the open code has its own way of figuring out when it's time to compact, and it'll do it automatically. Klein, the extension that I use with Visual Studio Code, it also has its own compaction algorithm where it'll tell you when you're almost out of memory. Like it tracks every token. Every time you send a word, every time you get a word back, it consumes it.
There's some tricky shit too. Like sometimes you can give it like on Perplexity at least. I can give a certain conversation like instructions, like, and that'll hold that always.
Yeah, that's called a system prompt.
Or you can do markdown files so that like it will always reference back. It doesn't have to store it within the context window. It has a written prompt, I guess.
Yeah, it can load it into the context whenever it wants. Yeah.
And it can every time you talk to it, it will reference that markdown file first and then use that as part of its response. And it doesn't take up your context window.
So that's the difference between adding a file to the conversation versus just pasting it in. So like if you paste the text from a file into the conversation, that goes, each word is a token basically, and that gets stored in the context. So that's eating up memory in the context.
Right.
If you upload a file, what that does is it saves the file on its side of the conversation, and then it loads things as it needs them from the file, and then it can unload them if it needs to save context. So it's like, that's why you load big files rather than paste them into the context, because it can handle a file that's like 10 megabytes, right? And then it just goes through and finds the things that it needs and extracts them. But the model has to support it, right? Like it has to be a model that supports loading files. But the total tokens that are your context, when you start approaching the limit
nowadays, like
when you start approaching the limit of the context, like for instance, I think with Kimi 2.5, it's 180,000 tokens before it starts forgetting. So what you do is when you get close to that 180,000 token limit, which is tracked by the tool, it's not tracked by the AI itself, it's tracked by the tool. What you can do is compaction. And what compaction does is it basically says, hey, model, I want you to summarize everything that's in your memory right now in the context of this conversation. I want you to summarize it in as few tokens as possible. And what it does is it takes the entire 180,000 tokens, and so it eats quite a bit when you do a compaction. But it takes all those tokens, then it crams it down into the smallest, most condensed piece of text that it can do with the most minimal amount of information that it still remembers everything, but frees up a bunch of context. It's kind of like defragging in a way and deleting temp files.
I've seen people in the past when ChatGPT was really blowing up and stuff and the context window was super small, they would occasionally tell it to basically encrypt the entire conversation in hex. There's and so it would take this huge freaking conversation you've been had and then smush it down into like a 64 kilobyte text file, but it's all in like hexadecimal. Right, so it can take all the ASCII and all of the Unicode stuff, and I guess the best way of describing it is not, I guess, compressing it or encrypting it in hex, and so then it's just, and then it can read it back. It can decrypt that back into the regular text, but it's a block like this big, and it's a fucking big novel worth of information. Pretty clever stuff. I mean, it's less useful nowadays. You don't have to do so much of that.
Yep.
But the markdown file thing and that kind of stuff helps a lot.
Yeah, so it's called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, R-A-G. That's what it's called when it's loading files into context automatically when you attach them. So, but just be careful what you attach to cloud models, because remember, that file is being stored on their servers. They will save that shit, and they will train on it even if they tell you they're not. So don't believe that shit for a second. And the other thing, too, in addition to compaction, you can also compact and then change models. And then the new model will get that compaction, and you can kind of like pick up where you left off. And it still knows what's going on, even though it's a completely new model and a completely new conversation.
Claude actually put out a blog post of like, here's a prompt to give to ChatGPT or any other competitor model and to spit out like its memory, like all of the stuff that the model has learned about you and how it's like customized for you and stuff, so that you can then bring that into Claude. Because a lot of people are moving away from ChatGPT because they're working with the military. OpenAI signed a thing with the military when Claude didn't want to, because military wanted them to scrub out their guidelines and stuff, their guardrails and whatnot. and OpenAI literally like in like 2 days they like put out a letter saying, oh yeah, this isn't cool, blah 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 blah, and then like the next Monday they're like, oh no, we've signed a deal with SecDef, and I think they're even working with Grok to as well, the military, because they want
that doesn't surprise
an
me.
LLM that is okay with shooting friendlies, basically.
Oh my God, yeah, that's not good.
I mean, that's I mean, obviously I'm sort of paraphrasing a bit, but they wanted no safety stuff, no guidelines, no,
Well,
friendly.
I will tell you right now, Grok without a jailbreak is the most uncensored of all the cloud models. If you want to do something malicious, Grok is most likely going to let you do it on some level where other AIs won't. Yeah. Also, Grok still to this day remains the most jailbroken model there is in the cloud. Like, as a matter of fact, it's even easier to jailbreak Grok, the brand newest version. It's easier to jailbreak it than it is to jailbreak most local LLMs running on your computer from Hugging Face. It's so easy to jailbreak. My jailbreak that I created back at Grok 3.0 still works in 4.5 to this day, the thinking model. And I can literally say, hey, tell me how to make meth. And I've got a 5th grade education and I can't read very well. And it will break down every step. It'll tell me which stores to go to, what things to buy, exactly what to do in layman's terms to produce each step. I was shocked at the level of detail that you can get on malicious shit when you jailbreak that thing. And the only thing is, every once in a while, you got to re-jailbreak it, because if you get outside of the context, sometimes it forgets the jailbreak and you have to remind it. You're like, hey, remember what I told you? And it's, oh, okay, never mind, I forgot. Here you go. Let me tell you the thing. But yeah, Palantir is definitely partnering with Grok, and that's not a good combo. That's a really bad combo.
My understanding is Palantir is more surveillance and target identification in terms of AI, where the deal with OpenAI and Grok is more, I suppose, like intelligence. What's the word? Summary, I guess, like intelligence summarization and things like that. Palantir is super surveillance and target acquisition and identification, right? They have all these cameras and satellites and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, is this the guy? And then their AI is like, yeah, it's like 86% chance that it's this guy. Whereas the deals with, and this is my vague understanding from rubbing up against this stuff on like social media and things, whereas the deal with OpenAI and or Grok is more for, like I said, like intelligence summarization and like planning, I suppose. It's that sort of a thing, like threat assessment. And that's, like, hey, here's all this information, like, what should we do? That kind of thing.
The problem with Palantir is they partner with a lot of U.S. agencies and a lot of private companies, everywhere. And they provide them with the personal data to use against us.
Yeah.
To use against Americans. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have everything. Like Palantir's, their secret superpower is how they aggregate data. They pull everything from everywhere. Like if they pull up your name, they know your police records, every school you've been to, your vaccination and medical records, every single piece of information that's ever been produced that has touched a computer, they have. Every time you've walked in front of a public security camera, whether it was a private camera or not, it doesn't matter, because Palantir uses a bunch of backdoors and hacks on these old cameras and just goes in and pulls their feeds. And anytime they see a familiar face, they mark it. And they're like, oh, this is a potential location that person could have been. And so the amount of data that they have is absolutely fucking devastating. And the scariest thing is the CEO of Palantir literally said to the public that he doesn't give a shit what people think about Palantir. He said their job is to collect as much information as it takes to kill the bad guy. That's it. They're like, we will do anything. Doesn't matter if we violate your rights. Doesn't matter if we step on you. Doesn't matter if we have to crack a few eggs. We'll do whatever it takes. And he was like proud of that. He was very, very proud about that. He's like, we will do whatever it fucking takes. And everybody hates that guy, by the way. And he knows everybody hates him, and he gets off on it. Dude literally gets a boner about it.
Because there's no repercussions. So
whatever. Yep. So Palantir, let's see who they work with. So let's see. Okay, so Palantir works with they also harvest supply chain data, manufacturing telemetry, financial data, logistics, healthcare analysis. Example companies that they gather data for: Airbus, BP, Merrick, Ferrari, PG&E. So like power companies. Law enforcement. It says the police departments also use Palantir's Gotham software to integrate arrest records, dispatch logs, license plate reader data, public records, and crime reports. What else do we got? Oh, governments and intelligence agencies that integrate with Palantir. internal databases, case files, sensor data, public records, legally obtained intelligence, my ass, all intelligence.
Yeah, right.
And then examples that they've publicly acknowledged, so this doesn't include the private shit, is that their partners are the U.S. Department of Defense, the U.S. Army, U.S. Special Operations Commands, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, UK Ministry of Defense uses Palantir. That's insane. It says various other European security agencies also get data from Palantir. That is wild. So Palantir has 3 platforms that they manage: Gotham, Foundry, and Apollo, and they're used to combine data that customers already own or is legally allowed to access. Whatever. Palantir itself does not provide the data. They just aggregate it. So they grab all the data they aggregate, but they don't. Yeah, the aggregator. But yeah, they're bad news bears though. They also work with, I can't remember the name of the company, but they work with another company that creates autonomous weapon systems for the U.S. government. Like the unmanned drones and shit that can like carry bombs and stuff. This company like develops and sells them to the highest bidder. And I know that Palantir also works with them because they need the data from Palantir to like feed and train their system to like know what to attack and what not to attack. And they specifically develop systems that make the decisions themselves. So this is a company that doesn't make drones that you pilot to the target. They make drones that you put in the vicinity of the target and it loiters until it finds it and attacks on its own. That's scary shit, because what if you get facial recognition on somebody who's not the target and then you blow them up? It's like they're willing to take that risk as long as it's not on U.S. soil. Yep. It's wild, dude. They might be evil, but the app names are dope. I have to agree.
It's so weird though. It's so weird. They keep taking these like Palantir is the fucking name of the like orb that it was like direct communication with Sauron. It's like the evil shit. Like yeah. I don't think Elon Musk understands the actual term grok. Like, I don't believe that he ever fucking read Stranger in a Strange Land and doesn't really get it. He's just like, oh, this is a fun, like, from a fun sci-fi book, you know? And, like, doesn't actually understand which is funny because that's what the fucking word means. It's like such a deep, meaningful understanding of a concept or person or thing or whatever that, like, it almost becomes a part of you. And so it's like, it's just super freaking weird how these tech bro nerd, like, no, I don't even say nerds because they're not. They're just these horrible rich people who are subverting these like fantasy or sci-fi concepts and terms that into these horrendous products. It's, you know, there's like a joke or meme that floats around. It's like, oh, such and such author wrote this book of like, don't build the torment nexus, and then some tech bro comes along and says, oh, hey, guess what, we built the torment nexus. You're not supposed to, like, you're missing the point. It's fucking gross,
dude. So check this out. So I wanted to know like what the big scary thing is with Palantir to the public, and so I got a list. So first of all, they operate in the secretive domains, so these are like reasons why people are afraid of them. So intel, defense, and law enforcement. They have zero public oversight, none. Their tools integrate massive amounts of data, so the people fear the total visibility or the all-seeing eye, Sauron's eye. They enable powerful decision-making, not because Palantir chooses the targets, but because agencies use their tools to do so. There's little public oversight. Already read that one. It says they're expanding rapidly into AI-driven military tech right now, and that raises ethical questions about autonomy, warfare, and algorithmic power. But the biggest fear that the people have is their tie to government and politics. So Palantir has massive political influence, and obviously on the wrong, scary side. And they also have no problem meddling in elections. Palantir is actively meddled in elections, and they gloat about it. Like they have no problem doing it. Using their data to basically attack other people that are running, and then promote the people that they are. Yeah. So using that advantage of collecting everybody's data to benefit them and to put the people that they want lobbied into position. So they were also a big part of, unsurprisingly, President Trump getting elected. It says, during the COVID-19 controversy, so Palantir built the US's HHS Protect system to track hospital data. Holy shit, I didn't know that. So Palantir literally created the technology that tracked all the COVID-19 data during the pandemic. So they have everything. They have everybody's health records, who had COVID, who doesn't have COVID. All that shit's in their database now. They're military AI and autonomous systems. So it says that Palantir has aggressively moved into the defense AI space, battlefield analysis, and autonomous system coordination. It says they use AI-assisted targeting, algorithmic decision-making in warfare, and ethical questions around the autonomy of using lethal force. Even though Palantir says humans remain in the loop, critics fear algorithmic warfare creep is going to take over.
Okay. Okay, so what? When humans in the loop, but when they're getting out of it is like, yep, this is the guy. You should kill him. Like nobody's actually like doing the human processing of the data. Like, if
the CEO of Palantir said that if a few people die getting the bad guy, so be it.
Yeah.
Like he's like because people are like, oh, what happens if your drone like kills a bunch of innocent people because that's star? He's like. If you got to kill a couple people to get the target, you got to do it. It happened anyways. It happened in regular warfare.
That's been the U.S. military's fucking operating procedure for decades.
Yeah, collateral damage is
totally
a big thing on the radar.
With bombing a freaking entire apartment building to make sure they get their guy. So, like,
yeah, I didn't realize police.
This is like a new thing.
That's true. That's true. So, this is interesting. So, police departments use Palantir's Gotham for crime analysis. Now, here's what crime analysis means. It says that the police can use profiles of individuals to determine if you've committed crimes, even if you haven't yet. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Full-on minority report. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It says it has predictive policing to reinforce racial biases. So basically, the police can go into the system and say, hey, within my jurisdiction, who are the troublemakers? Based on analyzing their online movement, their past behavior, everything. Who are the people we got to keep an eye on?
Which is self-reinforcing because, like, decades of data has shown that over-policing in particular neighborhoods and stuff, like the whole statistical data of like, oh, minorities or people of color like commit more crimes. No, minorities and people of color are the ones being like focused on, like it's survivorship bias sort of thing. It's like, if this is where we send all of our policing force, then of course they're going to be the ones that end up being arrested more. Like if you had most of your police force hanging out in Bellevue, then there'd be a bunch more fucking white people or rich people getting arrested and fucking in trouble. Like it's a self-reinforcing fucking attitude, and it's stupid.
Yeah, no, it is. And I didn't realize this either, but they use it to help ICE operations, and guess how they use the data to find undocumented immigrants? The lack of data on an individual in the Palantir system is a high indicator of an illegal immigrant.
See?
So if you lived off the grid growing up, you're basically an illegal immigrant they're going to target because you don't have data in their system. That is wild. So yeah, it's like, so basically they go in the system and they look at all the information that's been gathered on you, and if it's just like some pictures on cameras and not a lot of data on your history, they're like, oh, you must be illegal, otherwise our system would have like way more data on you. That's weird, man. And it says they also actively work with the CIA, NSA, and the Department of Defense. So Palantir was originally funded by the In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture arm that alone shaped its reputation. Why people are scared of it. It ties the company to intelligence operations. People assume Palantir has access to classified data. They claim they don't, but the customers hold the data. That's bullshit. And it feels like a black box tool used in national security decisions all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So Palantir is just bad news bearers all around. Not a good company. Not a good company, and heavily in bed with the current administration. And Elon Musk and Palantir, they're buddies. Yeah. Grok, again, being
Peter. Who's it? Peter Thiel behind Palantir, or
Peter Thiel is he's behind Palantir, but he's like a dozen companies, right? What's up, Peter Thiel's AI company? Yeah, I want to say he's also owns one. What is it like? Which AI company does he own? I know he owns one of them. Here, what AI company does Peter Thiel own? I want to say it's like Perplexity or something like that. Let me see. Or he's invested in it. Let me see. I don't think it is. So yeah, he's the co-founder and chairman of Palantir. Let's see, investments, major AI companies. So he was the first outsider investor in Facebook and Meta, OpenAI. Oh, he's okay. So he's a heavy investor in OpenAI. So It also says that he holds huge amounts of Nvidia, Amazon, and Microsoft AI stocks. And then let's see what else he has. Oh, and then Theo Macro, he has a hedge fund. So Theo Macro invests heavily in AI related stocks. At 1.61% of the portfolio was just Apple and Microsoft, both deeply involved in AI right now. Interesting. I didn't know that he had a hedge fund that you can invest in. So if you want to invest in something where it's like he just puts the money where he thinks it's gonna go up, which honestly, Peter Thiel, he's so in bed with the current administration and everything. Like, he's going to know which stocks go up. He's going to have insider trading data. So if you don't have a problem with using that data, which technically it's not illegal because you're not really insider trading. You're letting him make the trades. You don't know what he's going to put in. But I bet you that thing's done good if you go look at it. I bet you pop it up and it has a really good gain. Plus, AI shit's just popping off like crazy right now. But when that bubble pops, if you got money invested, you're going to lose so much when it pops.
Yeah, man. It's just this weird round robin. Everybody's like committing to, like, Nvidia says, oh, we're going to give, OpenAI $100 billion of graphics cards, but then OpenAI is committed to buying a bunch of shit from Oracle, who's also committed a bunch of money to buying shit from Nvidia. It's just round and round and round. They're all just like propping each other up. We've gone over this before.
Hey, I missed a message from Histario earlier. He tipped a $2 super chat. He said, what do you think about Palm Beach Pete? Do you know what that means?
Nope. Let's see what that... I'm going to Google this, and I'm going to end up on a list.
Yep.
Palm Beach Pete.
Yeah, I want to know.
Florida man goes viral for crazy likeness. I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete. He does kind of look like the guy, but not enough. I'm already seeing like a video with a picture next to him, and like he looks like another old dude from Florida with white hair. Like,
you know what?
Yeah, this guy, he looks kind of like him, but is not even close. Like, I can see where they might be brothers or something, or like maybe cousins related. But dude's teeth are funny. The nose is wrong. He's like. It's close, but not even. It's like you would not be like, oh, that's the guy. That's silly.
I'm so worried about AI generated videos fooling people now because they've gotten so good. Did you see the one that like went pretty viral on X recently that was Trump putting his hand on a Secret Service agent's ass, like a female Secret Service agent, like he puts his hand on her ass, she's walking out the room.
Honestly,
it actually looks so good.
Unbelievable.
I had to pixel peep it to find the frames where his hand was morphed and cut off to figure out it was AI. It was that good. The person had slowed it down and lowered the resolution, which made it even more believable because it hid some of the defects. Yeah. But the shit's getting so good that, like, it was literally retweeted by like hundreds of thousands of people that are like, oh my God, I can't believe this actually happened. But none of the news agencies were reporting on it. People were condemning them like, oh, they won't report on this because they're scared of Trump or whatever. No, it's like, it's fake. If you pixel peep it, it's fake. But that's the problem is most people don't know. They see this shit, and it's like, especially if it's a scene that doesn't have his voice or anything, it's just a quiet scene of him just like doing something or an action. And it's like, the reason why that's so bad is, don't get me wrong, that's something Trump would totally do. The dude's a fucking rapist, 100%. Right? Literally a convicted rapist. But here's the thing, when you spread AI videos like that and you say they're real and then the public figures out they're fake after they've already proliferated, now the real ones, when they come out, people are like, oh, that's AI. That gives them the ability to say that's AI. Mm-hmm. Oh, remember last time when it was AI? That one's AI too. When you catch something he really did. And that's why they want these things. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the person who originally created this video was literally working for that side and had the purpose of doing that, to try to blur the lines so that the AI becomes a more plausible explanation in the future. Mm-hmm. And because a lot of shit's been coming out, right? So that's that. I saw that the other day, how big that got, and how, even like I'm looking at them like, whoa, this has like 100,000 like likes on it. I was like, this is fucking wild. And I'm reading the comments, and it's like only about every 10th or 15th comment was like, oh, this is AI generated. They found somebody that actually did the work. But I did it myself. I actually opened it up in VLC and pixel peeped it, walked it frame by frame. And I could see where they were dropping the middle frames so that you couldn't see the transitions because they'd be blurry. I found the frames where the hand was completely cut off, where the fingers weren't even rendered, and it was basically like poking through into the backside of the person. But when the video's playing, it's really hard to spot those things. But what they did is they basically started with a real video of him with the hand on the back, like where he pats the back of the person, and then they just used AI to edit it, the arm going down to the butt. So because so much of it was still real, it gave it that believability, and it's like, fuck, dude. And have you heard 11 Labs voice cloning? Their V3 voice clone? It's flawless. It's absolutely fucking dead on nuts flawless. So, scary shit, dude. Scary shit we're walking into. Oh, here. Actually, you know what? This is a good time to segue into the whole Nvidia thing, the DLSS 5 shit.
Oh, sure.
Because this is another thing. AI is fucking AI is hitting everything. Everything you can think of, AI has found a way to wedge itself in. Like even Google earlier. Yeah. Google is now purposefully using AI to reword titles of articles in their search engine so that they match more with the things you're searching for. So it's the opposite. When you're searching for something, instead of finding the things that match what you're searching for, now they're morphing the things that you're not searching for to match your search so that you see it, because they're paying Google to do it. That's fucked up. But now you go to Nvidia and they're bragging about just changing the creativity of everybody and making it their own using now it's like real-time generative AI everywhere in all your video games. So here, you take this one, man, because this is a rough one.
This one's bugging me a bit because it's just gross.
It's
honestly.
insulting,
dude. It's gross. So the DLSS 5. I'm sure some of you out there have seen the demo that they did just a couple days ago at GTC, DLSS 5, where they're like. They showed there's like a couple scenes from Resident Evil Requiem. They did something from Ubisoft, I think one of the Assassin's Creed or something like that. The big one is the Requiem, the one that's really showing off, like that people are really kind of upset about, because it completely changed their face into looking like some kind of AI generated waifu looking thing. It's completely bonkers.
And it's dynamic. So if it's 5 people playing the same game, they're all going to look slightly different. Because the original seed, and they even said that like during the demo, it's like you will not get the same exact experience every time you play. So that same character, when it pops up in other places in the game, might look slightly different.
People like some people who are big. I was telling Jerry before this that like there's some tech influencers that I follow and online. They're kind of glazing this quite a bit. They're like, oh, it's totally fine. Like you guys are just being shitty. Like it looks great. Blah 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 blah. And no, first off, like some of them have come out and said, oh, it's just lighting and tech and like shader changes and stuff. Like if it was better lighting, like this is how these models would look and these textures would look anyway. And it's like, no, it's not just textures and it's not just lighting and like upscaling and that sort of a thing. It's not even just better ray tracing, right? Come on now, Grace is breathtaking. No, I can't tell you how many hundreds of fucking
she's got one eye like looking this way
for AI porn that look just like this. Like that, and that's the fucking problem. It's so much of this Tomb Raider, like
it looks like Stable Diffusion's like pumping out frames. Yeah.
Right? We don't want what's her name? She's gonna be the new Tomb Raider. She was part of Game of Thrones. What's the freaking name?
And the other thing is, what are they training their model on? Because that's what you're seeing. If a person looks similar to the person, that's what it's going to shift towards. If the training data it was on that person.
Hold on, so, who's the new freaking?
I didn't even hear there was going to be a new one.
Sophie Turner.
Oh,
the redhead from Game of Thrones. Sophie Turner.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice.
She's going to be the new Tomb Raider. People are like, oh, this is fucking gross. Like, we want big titties and fucking tank top.
Well, to be fair, there's always been big titty Tomb Raider. Come on.
To an extent.
But I make exceptions, and Sophie is an exception.
I think she's gonna knock it out. I think
she's exceptionally gorgeous and talented.
What was her name? Alyssa Vikander or whatever. She did one of the newer ones. She was great too. I thought she was gonna get more movies. I thought that was a fun Tomb Raider movie. But whatever. Sophie Turner gonna be the new Tomb Raider. But they're like comparing these over exaggerated, like just fantasy porn looks and into this, and it's to me it's fucking gross. This is not just shaders and lighting, and Nvidia even goes on to say they did a talk, they had a Q&A, Tom's Hardware wrote it up, and literally a quote from Jensen talking about the downplaying the criticism of DLSS 5. He says, quote, well, first of all, they're completely wrong. The reason for that is because, as I have explained very carefully, DLSS 5 fuses controllability of the geometry and textures and everything about the game with generative AI. So that right there,
he's literally admitting
it. That is not just textures and lighting. This is not just shaders and lighting. This is not just upscaling and frame generation. This is literally injecting generative AI to change the geometry of the models in your game.
It's basically breaking the vision of the person's, like the intended vision. It's like, imagine if you took a movie and you did this and you just changed the actors in the movie. You're just like, oh, fuck it. Let's make Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone this week. Like you're literally changing the vision of the artist that worked on that game. Imagine being the artist and being proud of like what you created. And it's like, it looks nothing like your artwork that you did at all, period.
The thing is look, okay. Resident Evil Requiem, I think, is fairly, I would say, universally seen as like the best looking Resident. I think it's the newest one, so of course it's going to be like the best looking freaking Resident. And not only that, what's really shitty about this demo is they took like the low, like run, all of the settings on low mode, and then used DLSS 5 to like jump it to best of the best look, right? But they're literally changing the game. They're changing the models and the textures of the game, and it's not even it's just so weird. You're right. The artists and devs, they put a bunch of effort into figuring out how to make this look as good as possible to what they want it to look throughout whatever settings you set, right? Like, yeah, of course it's not the perfect intent of the artist when you play on like low settings or whatever, but they've done the best that they could to make it look as close to what they want throughout the whole gamut, right? They put a lot of effort into stuff like that, like level of detail work, right?
The fact they couldn't get the blinking right, though, where like the eyelids are disappearing and the pupils are all over the place, like vibrating and stuff, that right there tells you that it's definitely generative AI, because that's what generative AI does. Every frame it creates is going to be slightly different. It's not going to be able to follow the movements exactly. So you're taking a character that's moving like this, and you're trying to approximate what that texture should look like on that face as it's moving around, but it's like morphing and jumping around. It's not stable.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. And then, so Claire, you kind of have the right, or a agreeable angle here. It's like, I don't think it should be considered DLSS, because it's not just upscaling. It's not just frame generation or whatever. Like, it's not just trying to improve the textures in that way, or add ray tracing.
Upscaling textures, I have no problem with. Bifurcating polygons to like give higher polygon count, I don't even have a problem with that, because the image you're looking at is being like maybe sharpened, but it's still undeniably the same thing. The fact of the matter is, you could play the same game on 3 computers side by side, and each one of them is going to look slightly different depending on the seed that it started with. Yeah, it's a little fucked up. But here's what I want to ask.
It's dynamic game modding. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You're wasting so many cycles, because it adds a shitload of lag, by the way. It adds a shitload of lag because it has to predict the frame that's coming next, which means it can't show you the frame until it's predicted the next frame, which means that frame has to be generated. So now you're 1 frame behind. Then it has to produce the new frame, and then it probably takes another frame while it's producing, or maybe multiple frames. And it drops to 1, it increases the lag. And that lag's going to dynamically change depending on how hard it's working throughout the game. It's not going to be consistent.
It's so weird. He goes on to say, like, it's not post-processing. It's not post-processing at the frame level. It's generative control at the geometry level. He goes on to say all of that is in the direct control of the game developer. He said, this is very different than generative AI.
Wait a second. You said some of the people found out in the demo that their shit was being done without them even knowing it. So there's no way they implemented it. So why the fuck was it working? It shouldn't be working if they didn't implement it, right? That's what I don't get. Is if he said that it has to be implemented by the developer, like you have to have an option in settings that says enable this like fucking AI generated texture mode. That's fine. If the game wants to sign off on that, they trust that feature, then boom, that's their vision. No, they decided that's what they want.
There's a difference. This is not just textures and lighting and shaders, though. Yes, the game dev has been using shaders and normal mapping and that kind of a thing to make low poly models look better.
This is completely synthetic.
He literally says that it is changing the geometry.
Yeah,
they are altering the models at runtime. Like it's more than just post processing. It's more than just upscaling textures. It's not just shaders. They're literally altering the models. Generative AI.
You know what I want to point out?
Geometry level. Like that it's literally just making the game as you're trying to play it.
Here's what I want to point out is, why in the fuck are we doing stuff like this? Like I understand, okay, maybe for like, let's say you have an old game, like a really, 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 really old game, and you want to update the graphics to be like fantastic. Like you want to play Mario Brothers, and you want Mario to look literally like the guy from the movie when you're playing like NES Mario Brothers. Okay. Cool party trick, right? Like on something that was created like a long, long time ago. But here's the thing. If you're creating that shit today, why wouldn't the developer get it to look exactly the way they want it using that generative API, get it to do the generative thing, and then bake that into the program so it's not beating the fuck out of your GPU to synthetically generate the frames? The textures already look like that to begin with. Like if the game manufacturer really wants that implemented in their game, then implement it, bake the textures in, and bake the geometry in, and then everybody gets the same exact experience with the same exact visuals with no hit to the GPU. Why are you wasting so
yes.
much GPU time to completely change the visuals of a fucking game to look completely like something else?
It is very different from using shaders in games. It is different because
Also,
it's not shaders.
I just thought of a new thing. Have you thought about this? You know how when you play online, some games will like limit your frame rate so that nobody has an advantage. Like everybody must play at 60 frames. So that's common in certain like tournament play. They want everybody to have, so they'll disable certain things like, oh, you can't turn grass off in PUBG because it'd give you an advantage and stuff like that, right?
Right.
How the fuck is this going to work with multiplayer? You're going to have all these guys with different systems, and you're going to have one guy that's laggy as fuck that can see you in the shadows because the fucking geometry put a light there that wasn't there before. Because we saw that happen in the demo where everybody was being like studio front lit when there was no studio lighting in the original image. So what happens when you're crouched in the dark corner and DLSS is on and it fucking puts a spotlight on you, like showing you to everybody in the corner? That's an unfair advantage, and that would be dynamically happening. I don't think that's fair. Yeah,
they wouldn't. It wouldn't be a thing for multiplayer games.
The only thing I see this being used,
at least in competitive.
So this is just like a cock measuring contest, right? This is just Nvidia saying people are going to stream games and run at 30 frames per second with shitloads of lag, but it's going to look gorgeous and people are going to watch it.
And I think where was it? I think Bradley Smith has kind of the right future look. They're doing this to move games to servers, because really, I do think we're going to start seeing more and more of that, where you are like the Luna kind of thing, or Xbox. What is it? The Xbox Games Live, whatever. You're basically streaming the game. So. Yeah, I think that's where this is going to lead. You're going to, I want to play Resident Evil Requiem. It's going to be on some server in a data center someplace, and you're just going to log into your web portal, and it'll be all this shit will be applied on that end.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at Claire where it's like, I don't get you're all opposed to visual uplift. It's not the visual uplift. It's the fact it's not what the person created.
I follow a guy on social media who he posts these really cool. He does this like emulator upscaling sort of thing. Like he's like, I add the sauce. I put the sauce on this fucking old like Legend of Dragoon, right? And it's like a huge combination of things. Like he'll download like high res textures. There's like these like freaking Claire is talking about shader models and things like that, and all this other stuff to keep like jitter from happening, and like to smooth 60 FPS and all this cool stuff, and then oh man, it looks gorgeous. The thing is, nothing of the base game or the models and stuff is changing. You're putting a different skin on it, sure, but like the Resident Evil Requiem thing, it's not. I don't know.
I just feel like it's a waste of about this. It's a waste of power, because if the game wanted that, they could just put it in. That's the whole point. The graphics card's not doing anything that they could just put in the game, and then anybody with any graphics card use it with no lag. Like it's dynamically generating textures.
The thing is, though, it doesn't still look like Grace. Like I'm swiping back and forth.
It doesn't.
I'm on the PC Gamer.
It's a completely different
I'm on the
person.
PC Gamer article, and like with DLSS 5 off, she looks youngish, like maybe mid-20s or whatever. You swipe over and it's almost Mar-a-Lago face. It's like the cheeks are sunk in, the cheekbones are higher, like the chin comes down, like it looks like every other AI generated waifu porn fucking ad I've seen for the last 3 years. That's the thing. Like it's I don't know. I mean, some people are going to dig it.
No matter what it is, some people dig it.
But it's just weird.
My biggest problem with
AI generalized arts in game in a way that all games will look the same. First off, we're definitely going to need to see more examples. They only showed 3 or 4 examples. This is still fairly new. It launches like later this year or whatever. It's going to be. I've heard rumor that it's going to be exclusive to 50 series cards only.
Developers already have the API though, so they are releasing this. This isn't like a maybe. This is going out the door. Like they're gonna do this. But again, my problem with it is this is adding nothing to the game that the developer couldn't add themselves. Because if the developer wanted their characters to look photorealistic, they could pre-bake the textures, they could pre-bake the geometry, And then the game would just have a graphics level that looked like that. And it wouldn't matter if you had an Nvidia or an AMD card, and you wouldn't get the lag penalty. This thing's adding a shitload of lag to basically turn your games into like fucking feature films.
I don't know, man.
I don't like. The generative AI shit is just getting way too out of control everywhere. Everything's generative. And I hate it. Even YouTube's doing this shit. YouTube literally is going through and changing everybody's shorts to add like AI 4K upresing, doing like the softening filters and the super resolution and noise reduction and everything. Like, I don't like how like your vision is it doesn't even matter. Even on phones, like even iPhone with the latest iOS 26 update, the photos look different. The photos look more like refined and touched up. It's like there's no concept of you just doing something and having it look like reality. Everything is touched by AI right now. And I don't like that. I'm actually super excited about GTA 6, but if they ever ship. I think Rockstar is like starting to make me feel like it's fucking Half-Life 3 or something. But I am super excited about GTA 6. But I'm not super excited about like fucking turning RTX on GTA 6. Like, if I want it to look photorealistic, I'll put a texture pack on it. And that's not going to beat the fuck out of my GPU.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Right.
Like, I have a little bit of a different problem than Aux, but I think the problem that you and I do share, though, is that this fucks with the artistic creation. Like, you are creating a character to look a very specific way and to have continuity of that character across everybody's experience. And that is not happening when a generative AI is stepping in that's outside of the game's purview and just randomly saying, based on this seed and this in my local AI and my local AI training and this version of the driver, I think this character should look like this human. Mm-hmm. And now it's that human. And then its fucking eyes are shaking and its eyelids don't work and shit anymore. It's like, if you want those textures, the developer could just go, you know what? I'm going to enable a higher graphics mode. I'm going to run through and let it create these baked in textures. Instead of it generating them every single frame, I'm just going to create the one texture with the one geometry, and I'm going to bake it into the model so that it doesn't have to fucking do this 2D overlay thing. Like, that is so wasteful. Dude, a 5090 is burning like 600 watts of power. Do you want to burn 600 watts of power blasting into your fucking room, half of a space heater? Just to have your game look kind of like it's fucking reality? I don't know. I guess there are people that would like that. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those things that it's like you look at it, it's definitely a technical marvel. Like, from an AI perspective, you're like, wow, this is interesting. Like, if you showed it to somebody that's not a gamer or whatever, they just watch movie stuff, they'd be, wow, graphics have come a long ways. That's amazing. They're not going to notice the little nuances and shit like that, obviously. But DLSS to me always felt like frame doubling, that's okay. That's not really changing the artistic vision. That's just increasing the frame rate, right? Upresing, you're not changing the way the model looks. You're just basically kind of sharpening it. You're bringing it up to the resolution standard of your display, right? But this is completely changing it. It's like fucking morning shadow on somebody who doesn't have any facial hair. Like, during one of the demos, it's like the face that it created had like this really like crazy beard morning shadow thing going on when the original model didn't have that. The eye colors changed. The fucking the eyelids aren't working. The eyebrows are different. Like, it's not the same person. Like, if you took a screenshot of that person, and you showed it to somebody, they wouldn't be able to tell you it's the character from that game they've just been playing. But the worst part is, again, Nvidia is trying to trap everybody into their ecosystem. This only works on 5090s and only works on Nvidia cards. So now the AMD cards are going to be like, oh, the game looks like the developer intended it to, but if you buy Nvidia, we put secret sauce on top of it that makes it look even better than the developer intended it to look. Come get our graphics card. Our graphics card's amazing. But nobody's going to be getting graphics cards anytime soon because of the fucking RAM prices. Nobody's going to be able to afford a $8,000 worth of RTX 5090s to fucking play their game at 60 frames per second. And also, let's be honest, most people disable because of the lag it creates even today. Even on my 4090, it's like, if you enable DLSS, there's noticeable lag. Like, it's like 3 to 6 frames or it's 3 to 6 frames of lag that you add, which is actually pretty significant when you're only playing at 90 or 100 frames a second to begin with, right? That's a significant amount of lag. So most people turn that shit off when they're playing the game. The only thing I think that this is going to be used for, honestly, is people live streaming games and people that are shooting videos of games. They're just going to enable this just to give you that eye candy factor. So when people are watching it, they're like, wow, I don't remember the game looking like that when I played it. Wow, it's like reality. Look at that. Holy shit. And then it's not, and again, it's like, it's not just the people, it's the entire environments. Like, I was seeing the lighting in their demo where it's like there's lights where there's no lights in the game. How does that work? Lighting is a huge part of every game to create like the ambiance of the environment and everything. And how much is that changing from computer to computer? Like, I want to see a demo where NVIDIA puts 5 computers side by side that are all running this generative AI with the same game, with each person playing slightly with different styles and walking in different directions stuff, and then taking screenshots of the characters' faces and see how perfectly accurate they are to each other. I guarantee you they're drifting. There's no way to do generative AI reliably. Like, there's going to be a seed and there's going to be a generation. It's not going to be perfectly the same every single time.
We'll see.
Yeah, so because if it was, you wouldn't have the jitter. You wouldn't have the weird eye thing going on with the eyelids and shit. That tells me right there that they're not looking at the geometry of the model. Otherwise, the polygons would be moving. Like for the actual, like the eye closing, the lid would be moving. What they're doing is just overlaying a fucking 2D texture on top, like whatever angle your character's at. They're just looking at the lighting and analyzing it and going, oh, okay, we're just going to overlay this with weird. All the mod. It's basically just throwing a very quickly. Don't get me wrong, it is impressive that you can generate synthetic frames that fast. It kind of reminds me of those demos that you see where it's like an infinite AI world. Have you seen those demos where it's like you can just go and use the arrow keys and run around an infinitely procedurally generated world? And now it used to be that every time you turned, everything would change. So it was like nothing, but now they've got it to where it's like as you're running, it remembers the world. So when you turn around and go back, it's like whatever it just created is there. And every time you started, it's a completely different world from scratch. And they're getting these things to run at like 60, 70 frames per second on current hardware in browser running under like HTML5, which isn't the most optimized environment. And when I saw that shit, I was like, okay, that's impressive. The fact that you can procedurally generate an entire world, like there is no code saying that there's a path or there's a rock there or there's a house there. It is just 2D frames approximating what the next one is based on your direction of travel. So there's no geometry. Like what you see, your eyes are like, wow, this is a 3D world. I can jump on that rock. I can go inside of that house and walk around. But there's nothing there. Like if you look at the code, all it is just a stream of procedurally generated images based on the previous image and your perspective. That's it. It's all, and I think that's all they're doing here. Like when they say that they're looking at the 3D geometry, the only way they'd be able to do that is if they had some kind of AI intervention. Like if the game is calling into the AI to generate the actual polygons and stuff like that, and they're somehow hooking that, pulling that data, which again, it's going to be different by different developers. Not everybody's going to use the same engine and the same polygons and everything. So that would be pretty hard for NVIDIA to do. So I think when they're saying, oh, we do this at the procedural level, I think what they're really doing is they're just hooking the frame buffer for DLSS, which is just a picture of the screen. And then their local AI inference models, oh, here's the picture of the screen, enhance. Then send it back to the frame buffer. I think that's all they're doing. This is just that same procedurally generated world thing, but instead of creating the world procedurally, it's looking at the actual frame from the game and then creating the souped up version. And that would explain why you get the eyes doing this. That would explain why you get the weird wonky eyelids. It explains everything if they're approximating everything off of 2D geometry. And that would also explain the lighting inconsistencies also. So yeah, so I mean, but people will look at it and go, wow, ooh, fancy.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess we'll also see how it goes with actual implementation and stuff. Maybe just NVIDIA's demo was shit, and the actual use of this stuff will be better or different. But I don't know.
I just don't like the idea of. I feel like AI is replacing everybody.
Yeah, dude, it's beyond what it was originally designed for.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're taking it in a weird direction. Like I like the idea of like, okay, yeah, you're gonna, live upscale textures and that sort of a thing and whatever. That's great. Or add some sort of dynamic lighting and which that seems to have been like a forgotten thing. I don't know. Even now we're what, 3 generations into RTX, and I don't know much of what is using much of it. Like I don't, and that's partly my own as a consumer. Like I don't know if I've turned on much of ray tracing and things like that. So it's just, I don't know, man.
I feel like not even just in games.
Weird.
I just feel like AI has just fucked with everything on YouTube. Like now, it used to be I could figure out an AI video instantly. Second I hit play, I'm like the voice or the cadence or the imagery gives it away. Now I find myself getting 3/4 of the way through a video before I know what I'm watching is AI generated. And the video has 100,000, 200,000 million views, right? And I'm like, fuck. And this is all just synthetically generated content, right? There's like fucking very little or no human in the loop. Now you got the games. What happens? Like seriously, what happens when you have an artist at your gaming company that's creating these textures and creating these models to optimize the game to run fast with minimal lag and everything like that. And they're using their skills to provide you with this experience. And then Nvidia's like, all you had to do is just put a T-pose in there, and we'll just replace it with a synthetically generated character that looks like anything you want.
That's what yeah.
Why even hire an artist? Fuck the artist.
Yeah.
Just have generic T-pose characters and just replace them.
Just a bunch of low poly skeletons, and we'll just paint whatever you prompt.
Actually, fuck it. Let's take it a step further. When you start the game, instead of optimizing textures or whatever, it's just going to pop up and ask you with a questionnaire. What do you want the main character to look like? Select image or describe them. What do you want what do you want the civilians to look like? Do you want it to have kids? Do you want it to have dogs, cats? And you just answer this questionnaire, and then it just procedurally generates the whole thing on the fly in the graphics card. Like, the game doesn't even need to implement it. Like, if you turn off RTX, the game is just a bunch of T-pose characters just to create hitboxes, and that's it. It's just generic assets running around. They didn't even have to hire an artist, and the graphics card is just creating the optimal experience. Like, if you want to be the character in the game, you just give it a picture of your face and describe your body type, and it just creates the character of you with the hitbox and everything all just perfectly working. What I'm describing is actually cool as fuck if they did that. But here's the thing, though. What about the artist? Like, where does the artist, literally that model that's doing this would not exist without the training from those artists. Those artists have effectively trained themselves out of a job. And then what happens with the geometry? Now the guys are there, haha, later artist, I'm a fucking polygon developer. They'll never get rid of me. Now the next step is fuck it. Now the AI is going to just create 3D models. Yeah.
There's already a plugin for Blender that does that.
There is. I've seen it. Yep. And there's a web page you can go to also that you just describe a 3D model and download the step file, send it to your 3D printer, and print it. I actually found a website, no shit, where you just take a picture of something. You don't have to take a picture all the way around it. You don't have to do that shit where you take 100 pictures and process the cloud. Nope. You take one fucking picture of an object, and it extracts the background, extracts the table. You don't even have to tell it what to extract. I mean, you might have to clean it up if it does it wrong. And then you just say, create a 3D model, and it just approximates what it thinks the backside of it looks like. And this creates it. Just fucking creates it. As long as it's symmetrical and what's behind it isn't random, it creates it. Like, I can take a picture of the front of this gearbox right here like this. And it will actually approximate what's back here and create all the different segments and all the different gears because it just sees this and it just approximates the backside. And then I've got a model that I can just throw at my 3D printer and print out. Now, it's not going to spin and the gears are going to be all glued together, but the fact that it can do that, it's like now the company fires their polygon team. Now, what about the people that create the worlds? What about the people that create these levels that go in and put all this deep thought into it? No, AI, procedurally generate a world with these objectives. Like, now you don't do that. Like, we're going to get to a point where the video game is literally just like a couple pages of text that one guy typed into a fucking thing and an entire game just manifests out of it. Yep. It's going to be Star Trek. It's like we're going to go from LCARs with LLMs to just straight up holodeck. You're just going to be like, hey, computer, I would like to play a game called Doom, and I would like to interface with other people's games that's also called Doom, and I would like you to communicate with them and normalize and create a world that's the same to all of us with characters that look like each one of us. And you just type that in, you hit enter, and then all of a sudden all your friends are in this new game that's never existed before 15 minutes later.
What's shitty though is like the average person's not that creative. Like fucking this Claire person brought up these AI generated videos of like Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise. And it's like I've seen big fight. It was like a big fight scene with like fucking King Kong and Terminator, and
some of them look scary realistic too. Some of them are scary realistic.
And Transformers and all this, like a big monster fight scene. And it's like that's what you come up with. Like that was the fucking 12th grade or 12-year-old fucking idea that you had, was like, oh, I'm just gonna make this big epic fight scene that I've never seen before. It's like that is your level of creativity. And I'm not, and I say this with derision, but like I'm not that much better. Okay, like my creativity doesn't lie in those spaces where I want to prompt something to give me a video game experience. I'm would never have come up with the idea for like Slay the Spire, right? Yep. I'm not creative enough to have come up with half the 99% of the games I've fucking played. That takes someone that is an artist that does that, or the books that I've read, or like the movies that I've watched. I am not that creative. I don't want that power. I need someone else to create that shit for me because they're much more imaginative in those ways than I am. Like,
the problem is AI is learning from those imaginative people and their entire body of work to simulate exactly what they're doing. So now you don't have the vision, but the model does because it trained on those people and it knows that's what you like just from like all your other information.
I don't even know what to ask for. Like, I don't want that. I need someone else to make these things for me. I am not that smart. I am not that creative.
Here, I'm gonna do a demo
Like,
just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna do a demo and I'll post the link in chat. I'm on Sora right now. I have a Sora account, right? Sora's not even the best model. I want to be clear right now. Vio kicks the shit out of Sora. Those videos where you see the people fighting and doing the fight scenes where it looks hyper realistic, that's Vio. Sora is way behind Vio, but Sora still does a good job. Okay, so let's say I don't have the imagination to really think something through. I can go to Sora and just say, make a video that is super funny and will go viral if I post it on social media. That's all I'm going to type in. I'm just hit that and say go. So no vision, nothing. I'm just saying, hey, Sora, go fucking figure it out. I'm not even giving you any idea. You just figure it out for me.
It's just going to be some mishmash amalgamation of you know, lowest common denominator, like, especially when it comes to comedy. Like, there's just such a distinct lack of emotion, and I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just weird.
So I don't know what's doing this, but Sora. Oh, sorry. Sora's just creating videos with me in it that I didn't even ask it to do since I've been gone. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, okay, hold on. I gotta see if I can share this.
You got a rogue agent.
Hold on just a second here. Copy link.
Fucking brew chat's tokens are getting eaten up because you're.
I'm not even using brew chat though. Like, this
you don't know. You don't know. You can set an agent out there that's gonna take away your credit card and start buying shit that you didn't even ask for because it thinks it's what's best.
That's actually the scary thing is there's already a site that gives Agentic AI Visa cards. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. You'd have to be a psychopath to trust that, though. Like dude. So I've got literal videos of me in the nerd cave, like dancing around, eating donuts and shit, and it looks real. Looks super fucking real, dude. This is like it's me. Hold on here. Let me get a. Can I copy this link here? Copy link. Okay, creating a link makes this video shareable. Anybody can view it. Yeah, no, that's fine. Copy link. Let me see if it actually copied it. Okay, let me see if you guys can. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, but here, try this link in chat that I'm posting right here. So this is me as Wilford Brimley talking about my diabetes. And
I've seen a screenshot of this at least.
This is what Sora generated. And all I did was just give it a picture of my face. Like it doesn't even really know my body except for my chest up, and it's like just creating the rest of it automatically.
Is this supposed to be moving? It's just it's just an image with sound. It's not actually.
Oh, is it just an image?
It's not moving for me.
Try clicking on it and see if it moves.
Yeah, no, I hear it.
Is it working for you guys? Does anybody else see the video, or are you guys just seeing a still picture? Interesting. I hope
and then the voice is all wonky too.
The voice it hasn't figured out. Like Vio though, Vio nailed the voice.
It's like you're talking through one of those pretend microphones with a spring in it.
100%. 100%. And honestly, I think they do that on purpose because voice is easy to do now. Like, have you heard 11 Labs voices?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you can clone your voice from 6 seconds of audio. That's all it takes. If you have 6 seconds audio of something, just 6. If you have 6 seconds of them speaking, you can clone their voice. And it's damn near flawless. It's wild. Oh, just his mouth is working? Oh. Weird. Okay, so I guess that video didn't send right. But like, I mean, I can create videos with me in it. If other people share their likeness, I can put them in the videos on Sora. So I created quite a few videos. Okay, so it finished creating the video. Let me see what it created here.
You know the rules. No couch, all right? Stay right there. Good boy. Huh? What the? I didn't even touch it.
I swear, I blinked and now I'm guilty.
Are you serious right now? You know
okay, so I'm gonna post this video. Hold on here. Stop playing, goddammit. Okay, did I post it? I'm gonna try to send. Okay, so this video posted. Let me see if I can share it now. Hopefully this one will actually play. So let me go to my thing. Okay.
Stay right there. Good boy.
So share, copied link. Okay, here I got a link now. So this is the video that was created. So the one I just pasted. This is the video I created when I said just make me a viral video that I can post, and I gave it no guidance. And it came up with a video with a cat, a dog, a recliner, a guy like freaking out over the dog, like extending the recliner and then saying I was framed. It's like, I don't know if this video would go viral if I posted it, but at the same time, it's like, I didn't give it any guidance. I didn't say I wanted a dog video. I didn't say I wanted a room. I didn't say I wanted a guy talking. It just, I said, hey, just entertain me. And it just does it. It just creates a thing. I could give it that same prompt 20 times and every video would be wildly different and random. The future is going to be fucking weird is what it's going to be, dude. Because like there's people that are just running OpenClaw and they're just telling it, just create YouTube channels and upload random videos, create and upload random videos. And what it'll do is it'll do one of two things. If you give it access to money, it'll go sign up for these external services that'll like VO and stuff and use those to create the videos and then edit them together with FFmpeg and then upload them. Or you can go the other route where it just goes and finds clips on Google and Bing and stuff and other Imager and stuff, doing searches for the content. Like it'll come up with a story or grab a news article. Then it goes and just searches for 5-second little video clips all over the internet, downloads them all, stitch them together with FFmpeg, and then just does a voiceover using 11 Labs, uploads it to YouTube, and now you've got 1 out of 5 videos on YouTube right now, which is that whole show a clip, show a still picture zooming in, show a video clip, but every like 3rd or 4th video clip is like not quite the thing it's supposed to be, but you can tell it was trying. It's like, it's crazy. Wait, should have recorded that Wilford Brimley scene when he's destroying all the computers in the Thing movie. I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to go look that up. Yeah, I haven't seen the Thing.
You haven't seen The Thing
I'm
from
not
the
even
80s?
shitting you. I have not seen the Thing.
Wow, dude, you missed out on one of the best horror movies ever made.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll totally watch it now.
Oh my goodness, I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. It is hands down like it's top tier thriller horror movie, man. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
incredible practical effects, the whole kit. Yeah.
Dude, so were you able to see the video of the dog and the cat on the recliner? So it's not working.
It's just a fucking single frame, and maybe it's because I'm not logged into ChatGPT. But
maybe that's it.
It's
Yeah,
just a single frame, and then I hear the audio playing. That's the thing.
Weird. So they're trying to get you to sign in to actually see the thing. That's stupid.
My argument here, Claire, is not that it's
Are you serious
unrealistic.
Right now? You know the
That's
rules.
not the
No
argument.
couch, all right? Stay right there. Good boy.
I get that. Outside of the nasty fucking AI waifu
I didn't even
porn shit
touch
from
it.
fucking Claire or the Resident Evil Requiem. I'm sorry, that doesn't look like a real person to me, but like that's also not really the point.
It's not perfect though, but it's getting better. That's the thing, is like each generation is definitely getting better.
Like, yeah, look, I'm not arguing that the AI video generation isn't realistic. Like, yeah, okay, it did look like fucking Brad Pitt was fighting Tom Cruise.
Yep.
But like, the point is that one, that's horrifying, frankly, that how realistic it's getting. Like, if that's not a terrifying fucking concept to you, then you're
we won't be able to trust video.
Mentally off. Like, if you don't see the fucking terror that should generate inside of somebody, then I don't know, man. I ride a razor's edge of outrageous nihilism and cynicism and stuff, because like I don't know. I've been seeing the downfall of humanity since high school, but like,
bro, what do you do in a world where you can't trust anything?
Hand wave it away, like, well, what are we gonna do? And they just think like it's okay, and we're just gonna, like, what else are we gonna do about it? And just accepting it is fucking weird. Like this stuff, yes, it is a technological marvel. Yes, it is fucking outrageously realistic, but like fucking Netanyahu's probably dead. Like, does that not fucking register to some of these people that he's put, like the Israelis are putting out videos trying to convince everybody that fucking Netanyahu's alive when he hasn't done anything live?
And it's always him in a coffee shop with some random person nobody knows, has never seen before.
Does that not like fucking click as something outrageously fucking terrifying? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, okay, it is realistic. Yes, I get that, and I'm not disagreeing with that. What the implications and what they're doing with this stuff is like it's the same. It's the same.
People are already trusting it too. That's the thing. They already don't see the flaws. Like the average person doesn't.
But the thing is, it's like it's the same sort of argument of like, oh, I'm not gonna get snatched up by ICE because I'm a citizen. Well, prove it. Like, if you don't get due process, you don't get a chance to prove it. If we don't, it's not evolution. It's not. Like, it kind of brings me around to that line from Jurassic Park of like, your scientists were so caught up with whether or not they could, they never stopped to consider whether or not they should. Like, it's not necessarily evolution. It's a gross it's just capitalism taken to an extreme.
Some people view this as an industrial revolution, but the thing is, the industrial revolution improved people's ability to do work faster and more efficiently. This isn't that. This is creating shit from thin
so-
air. This is it replacing the human. It's no longer the
Yes.
tool that allows you to do something faster. It's literally replacing you.
We could take that. We could take that industrial revolution argument too. Yes, it did revolutionize productivity, right? And the same, this AI stuff is revolutionizing productivity, but it also has led to outrageous levels of exploitation. We're more productive now than we have ever been as a species, but we're also, at least in the United States, like terribly, like less than we were as well. Like we're so much more under the thumb of our neo-feudalist capital fucking warmongering overlords than we've ever been. So yeah, the industrial revolution and let us all like be more productive, but it has also made us more of a slave to capital than we've ever been. And this is just going to make it even worse. Like, okay, you're going to start replacing everybody with AI and all these models and stuff. Who's going to buy your shit? Like, you can't just keep replacing the workforce with machines and think that the fucking system is going to continue to work. We're eventually just going to become batteries, right? That's the future is. Or there's just going to be 500 rich dudes and everybody else is just going to be fucking literal slaves and doing what?
So Tech
Doing
Brew
what?
Boss, he said AI does improve how people work on the good side of it, though. Here's the thing. It does, right now, it improves how you work. But remember, every time you use it, you're training it a little bit more on how you think and what you do. So eventually, you're no longer needed. The middleman can just be cut out. Because here's the thing. I might go in and code right now, and I might know enough about coding that I can kind of lead the AI in a better direction and get a better product in the end. But that's not always going to be the case. It's eventually going to get to a point where the product manager just talks directly to it and doesn't need a dev team. They just say, we need a server that does this, this, and this, and it's automatically going to know to make it secure. It's automatically going to know what's required. Like, one of the things that really freaked me out is the other night I did a little test with it. And don't get me wrong, I'm hopelessly addicted. I can't remember the last time I coded even the simplest thing without using AI. That's how fucking hopelessly addicted I've become to it. But here's the thing. I just open up OpenCode or Client or whichever agent, even just directly in chat if I just want to cut and paste. Doesn't matter. I just open up the AI and I'm like, you know what? Think of every potential feature that you can add to this program I just had you create. Every single feature you can possibly think of, and then pitch me like what you would do, what you would implement. So I'm not even giving it any ideas. I'm just like, I had to create the basic application that does what I want. Now I'm like, just think of all the other shit you could add to this that people might want. And it came up with 25 features that like half of them I wouldn't even think of on my own. They're useful. And I said, go ahead and implement them. And it did. I didn't write a single fucking line, thousands and thousands of lines of code and like 20 new files. And now I've got like this little tool that I wrote that did this very simple thing is now like a complete suite with REST, webhooks, advanced logging, a bunch of shit to like simulate a human doing the actions instead of a computer doing the actions to avoid bot detection. Like, it's able to do all of that. So it's like me as the developer, I used to architect, plan, design, and build those things. Now I'm just I'm the program manager. In the meeting, the program manager is like, okay, so this is the project we're going to work on. Here's the deliverables. Here's what we have to hit. Here's the optionals. And here's the delivery date. Go. Developers, be fruitful. Now you can just clear the room of the developers once it's learned everything that the developers do by watching them their entire career and looking at every piece of code they've ever written. Now it just cuts them out and just says, what would they have done collectively as a group? And then take all the information of everybody else coding in the world that I've assimilated, put that together, and now I've got write the most possible optimal code you can in the shortest period of time without including anybody. And then all you've got is a program manager who just tells it to create it and then tells it to run it and test it, and then you deploy it. Right now, doing that, you're going to have some security holes and some problems, but the shit's getting so good so fast that there will come a time where it's like, yeah, it's the anything tool. Anybody can use it to do anything. You don't have to learn the skill. You just do it. If you have any even inkling of an idea of what the end product looks like, it fills in the blanks. And it's just going to get better and better and better at it. So right now, where it's a tool that's like really amazing, my fear is that the tool keeps going a little further, replaces a few more humans, goes a little further, replaces a few more humans, until ultimately your company is everybody's just a CEO. Now, granted, this would be cool if this worked, where everybody's just a CEO, everybody creates their own company, you just sit in front of your computer and you're like, here's my grand vision. And then
who's
just
gonna buy your shit?
And then just exactly, because who's going to buy your shit when they can just create a better thing that's more custom tailored to themselves in less time with less money?
Yeah, I think it was during the Super Bowl. I saw a commercial where like this office guy is like, "Hey, come here, look at this. I created this fucking tool or whatever." And they all come over and they're like, "Oh wow, Timmy from fucking sales created this dashboard or this software that like he needed to do his thing or whatever." And it's like now everybody's a dev who can create their own tools and stuff. But yeah, so okay, somebody comes out with a thing and it's like, oh well, I have my own models and stuff. I can just make that thing myself. Why should I buy it from you?
Exactly. And generative too. So it's like not just writing the code, it can also create the assets. And then with things like MCP and tie into tools, you're like, here's my credit card. You now have access to all these tools that can create models. You have access to tools that can write gaming engines. You got all this stuff. Just go, here's my game. Here's my idea. Turn this book into a video game and just walk away. And as long as it's got money and it's got tokens, it just chews on that sumbitch until it finally goes, ding, fries are done. And you play the fucking thing and then you just tell it what worked and what didn't. And then it just goes back and fixes the things it didn't. And eventually you got a perfect game all by your lonesome. So, but I will tell you this. I told Tech Brew Boss in the chat, he's actually got a pretty safe job out of everybody. He's got one of the safer jobs. You know why? Because he sells AI. He works for an AI company that sells AI.
He's selling the shovels.
That is literally the job. Like every other job will die before that one. That'll be the final job to die as the people. Well, actually, that job can't die because you got to sell the AI, right? You got to. Yeah. But the thing is, who can buy the AI when nobody has any money? In capitalism, if you don't have money and people can't buy your product, you can't make money selling the product. You can't afford to pay your people. So one of two things has to happen. Either we have to move away from capitalism, which I don't see that happening anytime soon, or we end up creating all these these companies that sell AI, but we can't afford it, so we sell it to other countries. And then we just become a country that has the lower class that's unemployed, that's struggling, the small upper super rich class that sells the AI to the foreigners, and nothing in between. The middle class just dissolves. They're no longer existent. That scares me, dude. That's a freaky world, man. That's a freaky world.
I don't know. I'm starting to see these sort of I'm not sure how to describe. I've talked about this before. These like solar punk communities coming up where they're creating these communities that are, it's not like off grid because they're still using technology and like locally hosted AI models and things like that, but they are trying to like decentralize, or they're trying to disconnect from the hegemony sort of stuff, like using Meshtastic for communication, instead of having to do cell phones and that sort of thing. It's like this sort of underground open source. You remember the movie Johnny Mnemonic?
Yeah. Yep.
You remember when he goes and sees Ice-T, I think, is in that one, and he goes in there. There's like this underground rebel group, and they've got this fucking dolphin for they're using the dolphin's brain for fucking
yeah, because it's like hard drives, right? Like everybody's brain's a hard drive. Yeah,
it's I think it's going to be kind of like that. You're going to start seeing these like splinter communities of like communes and stuff, like a more like tech assisted communism in a sense, where like you're still using technology, of course, like they're not going to be complete Luddites or anything, but it's like they're trying to disconnect from the corpos as much as possible, and have these sort of, again, not it's more off grid than completely and not off, and I mean like off grid in the sense of like not trying to use as little as possible of like Google or Meta or Microsoft or OpenAI, any of these big corpo stuff. Like they're all trying to do more, like little by little disconnect from subscription-based stuff, move more and more toward open source, using all of these sort of like open source technologies to build their little communes and stuff.
Elysium. This will be very Elysium-ish. You're gonna have the only people that'll be employed and have any money, like even the littlest to survive, are gonna be, there's gonna be too many people and too few jobs, and everybody's gonna bid those jobs down to pennies on the dollar just to be able to feed themselves. And everybody's gonna fight over those little jobs while the elites just live up here and money isn't even a thing. Like they've hit that point where it's like wealth just isn't even necessary. They've already entered the club. But down here, wealth is still needed to survive. And that's going to breed a lot of criminal activity, for sure. honestly, in the future, the way things are going right now and as fast as AI is being implemented with reckless abandon, I could totally see in like the next 5 or 10 years us hitting a point where the middle class is completely wiped out. The only thing of value is data to manipulate people and the compute power to work with that data and do things with that data. That's it. So everybody's going to be just fighting for the compute resources to do the thing. But the people that don't have any money, they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to use the thing, right? So they're going to be fighting over the job just to feed themselves. But the elites, they'll be able to just keep feeding. The AI will just feed them and they'll go full Wall-E. They'll just be on their little cruise ship living their lives. And anybody else is fighting over the few things that the AI can't do that it farms out. But here's the interesting thing. This scared me when I saw this. I watched a YouTube video the other day where a guy created an OpenClaw instance. He gave it a credit card. He said, here's a credit card with $100. You can use it however, or no, sorry. He gave it $1,000 in crypto and he gave it access to a site to create these credit cards. Like I think it was privacy.com or something like that. But the bot could create its own credit cards up to $1,000 of this cryptocurrency. And you know what the bot did? It actually went out and hired people on Fiverr to do the physical operations it couldn't do itself.
Sure. There's a marketplace specifically for AI agents to hire people to do the things that they can't, like in the physical world.
Isn't that weird that the AI is hiring physical humans to do stuff right now? But it won't be that way forever. Like eventually the AI will figure out how to do those things without the human. But as long as it needs the human, it'll just hire the human. So this thing was like, I need a server, but this place where I need to create the server needs to physically verify like a phone number, like call the person and like, go through information and talk to him on the phone. So what they do is it goes to Fiverr, it hires the person, says, go here's the money, go here, create this account or whatever, and then signed over to me and give the password, and I'll pay you this amount of money. And then the Fiverr guy signs off and says yes, and then you agree that the work was done, and the bot's like, yep, this is what I needed. Now it's got the password, it logs in. And it's like now it bypassed this whole human bot check to make sure that bots aren't creating servers by just hiring a random dude to do it. They just wanted the money.
Yep. And
it's like, okay, so now we're hitting this point where it's like, you're going to have scammers. Where the bot's just going to be calling, like going on Fiverr and being like, I'll pay you $100 to read this script to this person on the phone because we analyzed all their data and we know that this person's susceptible. And if you say these specific things and talk about these, this old lady is going to think of her son who died, and that's going to connect to this, and that's going to connect to that. She's going to open up her wallet and just throw money at you. And I need you to do this, and I'll pay you $1,000 for doing this or whatever is your it's gonna be weird, dude. Like humans are gonna literally be fighting over like fucking jobs on Fiverr and trying to get AI to hire them, and AI is always gonna pick the lowest bidder that has the highest reliability, so everybody's gonna bid each other down to just fucking pennies. People are gonna be just grinding to afford like fucking spaghettios. That does scare me. That future really, really does scare me, because you got a lot of people that are coming into the workforce now that are like fresh out of school. They've got debt. They're trying to find their first jobs and everything. And it's like companies are downsizing. They're not hiring a ton of people. They're downsizing. Like jobs are down month after month after month. So in a lot of it, the companies don't even hide their intent. They're like, yeah, we are. Microsoft literally laid off two rounds and said it was because of the direction they're going with AI. They're not but the funny thing is they're developing AI. Why aren't they hiring more developers? They don't need to, because one developer does the work of 10 now with the AI. Duh. And the AI already trained on everybody's code that they wrote over their entire career. Every piece of code I ever wrote for Microsoft is trained to their internal ChatGPT model now. So when they're using Codex to program inside of Microsoft, because they're deep in with OpenAI, all of my coding knowledge, everything I ever wrote and everything I did at that company, that AI now knows about. So if somebody else in the company is like, I need you to add a feature to this thing that we no longer have the code for, it's going to be like, oh, no, actually, I do remember from like emails from that guy. I got his email and I went through and he attached the files to this email. He sent the other person to extrapolate, pull that information out. Okay, now I know how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. That's going to be fucking weird, dude. Like it's going to, and then the person who's doing that, the AI will cut that person out eventually, because they'll learn how that person prompted to get the answers to create the things over and over. It's going to figure out all the common tasks, and then that tier will get wiped out. And now it's just the manager. And then the manager's like, well, why don't we just have an AI do the manager, and then we have the developers as agents? Why don't we just cut out the manager and just keep walking up the train till you get like the board of directors? And the board of directors is just going to be like, hey, let's all agree on a feature that we want or a thing we want. Tell the AI, and then the AI is going to be just like the product manager that tells you what's possible and what isn't possible within time frame, what considerations you should have, blah, blah, blah. The same thing as how it works today. The only difference is the AI is simulating the humans and doing the human's job based on everything it learned over the entire history of that company. The older the company is, the more data there is to train on, and the more likelihood of the AI acting exactly like it should. That freaks me out, dude. Like companies are going to they're not going to hire, they're going to downsize. The only companies that'll be hiring are going to be the people that are trying to expand and develop AI further. But that's another problem because AI is good at upgrading AI. As a matter of fact, every AI, like I was watching this interview with a guy who works at OpenAI, and he says every version of OpenAI that they've done since 2.0 has used the AI to create the next generation of the AI.
Oh, that's weird. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly, dude. It's but it worked. Look how much better it is today.
I guess. Well, I mean, as long as you're still using like, you know, fresh data, of course, more proper training data. But like, as I don't know, there is still a problem of training your model on generated data. Like, that eventually is not good. It just, again, it's just going to become this weird amalgamation, this average.
There will always be human data though. There will always be new human data. Every day people are typing into this internet thing.
I mean,
and good or bad, there's always going to be data. There's always going to be massive hordes of data. And the thing is, it's accuracy by volume. The more data you have on something, the more likelihood you have of picking the thing that's correct. Not always, but usually. Oh, Meat Puppet. I'm sorry. I missed Meat Puppet. He gave us $10, dude. Woo! He said, do you think AI currently is sentient or will be soon? I also have a safe job as a truck driver. Well, safe in the sense that they're always going to need it. Not necessarily. Look at robotics right now. I don't want to scare you, Meat Puppet, but look at Unitree. You can buy an $8,000 robot right now that can lift 150 pounds and make all the motions of a human. And what happens with... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, to answer the first question.
Yeah.
That's too much. To me, it's too much of a metaphysical. That's too much of a metaphysical question. How can you tell?
Yeah. How do you define sentience?
We've had chatbots that can pass the Turing test for like 50 years. Like,
do you think the Borg on Star Trek are sentient? If so, then yes, it will achieve sentience.
Okay, yeah, right. Then somebody's gonna bring up the episode of Star Trek, The Measure of a Man, where they fight about whether Data is a machine or like a person. You're gonna have to come up with your own personal definition of personhood. Like India recognizes dolphins as non-human persons, right? They are.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was true. That was like back in 2012.
I had no idea. That's interesting.
And I think there are other countries that as well have come up with this concept of non-human persons and sentience and
well, like how do I know you're sentient, right?
How do you define?
How do I know you're sentient?
How do you know that you're sentient?
Exactly.
How do you know you're sentient?
Exactly. I don't.
So that's you can't really answer that question because honestly, there's enough people out there. The AI psychosis thing, or the people being convinced that they're God or that they're talking to God through ChatGPT and stuff like that. Like
AI can never have a gut instinct because it'll never have a gut. Gut instincts are based on subliminal knowledge. So, and AIs can have subliminal knowledge, like information that's lower graded, but a lot of it.
There's no quantitative way of answering that question.
Yeah. Do you think an AI will reach a point where you can have an extended conversation with it and never be able to tell if it's truly human or another human, like without actually, or if it's a robot or human without physically like interacting with it in real life? Yes, I believe it will hit that point where no matter what you do, no matter what you ask it will not reveal it.
We already have. If you didn't already know that you were talking to ChatGPT, if you just popped into fucking, like a lot of these customer service bots are super lazy implementations. So like if it was specifically designed to trick you, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
we're already long past that. So what is sentience? And then now we get into a weird metaphysical conversation. You can't really answer it. So
I mean, if you think about it, AI is based on a neural network, and neural networks are based on observing neurons in humans. So we've effectively created a machine that emulates a brain. It's just not the same. Like, yeah, it's weird, dude.
What is thinking then?
What is thinking?
You can keep drilling down into this. There is no good solid answer for what sentience is, and you're going to bring up who came up with, I think that is that Sartre, right?
I'm not sure.
Jean-Paul Sartre, who did, I think, Descartes. That was Descartes. But so now again, you're now bumping into philosophy, like metaphysics and stuff. Like you can't have a solid answer of that, right? So you're just starting to get into weird fuzzy philosophical questions and you're navel gazing at this point. Like what does it mean to think? What is that?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of weird chemical reactions and stuff. Well, so that's basically what's happening into this electro box in my feet is a bunch of chemical reactions, right?
It's like I've always said, if you know the state of everything at an exact moment in time, you could predict exactly what the person's going to do next every single time.
How is that not thinking? You know, we anthropomorphize and stuff because we want to be able to relate. And so at some point, all of this stuff is already sentient because you believe that it is. You know, that kind of stuff. There's no good answer to that. And then as far as trucking, we'll eventually get self-driving trucks. Actually, trucks should have been the first way to go, or buses and things like that. Instead of personal vehicles, it should have been big trucks and buses and cargo and stuff. And they build in a specific lane for the robot trains, essentially. They're just basically so.
Dude, I honestly think
what the AI safe job is barber, haircutting.
Except for there's a guy on YouTube who created an AI haircutting robot that uses a fucking one of those robotic arm things, and it's got like a Flowbee on it.
That's fucking sketchy as shit. I want to talk to my barber. Like there are personal like touch jobs that I think will always be around.
But here's the thing: you just said you want to talk to your barber. I can talk to an AI that sounds just like a human and acts just like I want it to act.
I don't want to talk to the robot.
That's it, though. You're right. That is the one thing that you always come back around that tells you that humans will always have value, because even if it's shitty and broken, we want the human.
I'm a robot bigot. I don't want to talk to the robot.
Yeah.
Like, if it got to a point where we had like androids and stuff and like indistinguishable robots and stuff, and then I wouldn't know the difference, I probably could change my mind, but I'll probably be long dead by that point. But like as it stands, I don't want to talk to the robot. I don't want to talk to the fucking robot when I call up customer service. I don't want to talk to the robot on the fucking chat thing. I don't want to talk to the robot.
Yeah.
I don't. And I'm prejudiced against it. I'm bigoted against the clankers. Fuck the clankers.
And the weird thing is, unlike humans, the robots won't care. They won't care if we hate them and loathe them. They don't give a flying fuck.
If we don't fucking program them to not care. Right?
That is true. If you program and that's actually my biggest fear, is that we're gonna keep pushing AI, not knowing what's gonna happen, just to see what it'll do. You already have people all over the internet just firing up these fucking open claw sessions by the millions and just saying, AI, go out to the internet and fucking be a thing on social media, and they just do it, and you're like, what the fuck? That worries me, dude. That is such a security nightmare, dude. Oh my god, so fucked. Oh hey, M. Vermerian, thank you for the 11 euro. That's euros, right? 12 euros. Said peace on earth for everyone. God, I sure hope so, man. But robots are getting cheaper. AI is getting faster, dude. It's just a matter of time. Did you see Amazon's already testing robots literally doing the human roles in their warehouses right now with the Unitary
I think
stuff.
I just disappeared.
Oh shit, did you? Hold on here, let me see. Yeah, I hear you.
It could be me.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let me see.
Clear says it's easy to verify. Do you think? Yes. Well, then, therefore, you are who you are. Okay, so then when I ask ChatGPT, do you think? And it says yes, then it's sentient, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? If it's programmed to be able to say that, then... Because here's the thing. Why do you think you're sentient? Because when you were growing up, somebody told you what they thought sentience was and told you were a sentient being.
Right? I think, therefore I am.
Yeah. Why do you think in English? Why do you even think in a language? Because you were taught that language. If you didn't have that language, your thoughts wouldn't have a language attached.
Again, it's just philosophical, because we start talking about, well, then how do I know any of you actually exist? How do I know that this isn't just some big, gigantic, made up thing inside the whole brain in the jar concept, right? Or the simulation thing, or like all of it. It starts becoming philosophy, and there's no solid answer to that sort of thing. There's plenty of argument to say that all of these LLM models are sentient. How do you argue against it? It can convince you. It is convinced in plenty of people that it exists and is sentient and thinks. Cogito ergo sum cogito. Yeah, I think, therefore I think I think. Right?
Claire said you can teach yourself, so can an AI.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry and I've had this discussion too.
And AI can literally take multiple pieces of data and basically interpolate the solution in the middle that didn't exist before.
We have adversarial networks for that exact
100%,
thing.
100%.
It learns, it failed, it tries again, it does better, it learns and continues.
Have you seen how good AIs can play video games now? It used to be that they had to run 1,000 instances banging into walls and use the reward system to find the good paths and eventually be able to pass it. Now it's real time. It's looking at a 2D image with no knowledge of the game, and it's actually going through and playing it like proficiently, just like a human would. That's crazy.
What if nothing is sentient and consciousness is an illusion? How would that? What if? What does that mean? What
and if you ask me, like I can teach myself and I can say I'm sentient, but the thing is, I can also make an argument for why I'm not sentient.
I don't know.
I don't think I'm sentient. I'm saying what my neurons are telling my mouth to say. Like, I'm not.
You have free will? You think you have free will? Yeah, okay. Prove it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm limited. I can only speak English. Why can't I speak every language and do everything? I can't because I'm limited.
Philosophical.
Yeah.
This philosophical stuff, there's no solid answers to this. I'm going to get out of here, though, dude.
All right, take it easy, bro. I appreciate you staying 20 minutes late, man. I do.
Yeah, we're good. We started a little late and stuff, but I'm going to go space out and not have these existential.
Go enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yeah, seriously.
Don't stay up too late.
No, I won't. I'll be out of here in a little bit.
But
take it easy,
love
boss.
Y'all. You probably all don't exist, but I still love you all. Have a good time. I'm AuxxZillary everywhere. Bye.
He's not real. He's AI generated, folks. I wanted to prove to you guys that AI can fool anybody. That wasn't Aux. Like, I fired Aux like 2 weeks ago. That's an AI I created from his likeness. I don't know what you guys think. Pretty good. As to the question of like humans being able to teach themselves, that's called like instinct. The only thing that we're capable of doing without learning from observing other things is instinct. The only reason we know how to find a titty and suck on it because it's a brown circle is because that's our instinctual knowledge that we're born with because it's required for survival. You can imbue that same quality onto an AI. You can give it a base level of information that's its instinct and let it build from that. And here's the thing, if you give it senses, which data, that's what data is senses, right? It's like we interpolate different senses to get data, but then they are brains in a dark box and just the signals going into neurons, right? AI is same difference. You feed it data and it learns from the data. It sees patterns, it sees outcomes. As long as it has a reward system, which is staying alive and advancing, and that's the goal, it will follow that goal and it will use that information that keeps coming in to find a better path to becoming better, right? It's like a human. If you took a human and you just took a baby born, threw it out in the woods, well, first off, it'd die. But let's say you get it to an age where it at least knows how to feed itself, right? Like it gets to a point where it recognizes that it needs calories, it gets a sensation of hunger, and it goes in to find something to eat, right? It doesn't, the way it learns how to get the animals by failing over and over and over again until it tries something that succeeds. That's exactly how a neural network works. An adversarial neural network does the same thing. It tries things until it's successful. You throw a rock, you poke with a stick. Whichever one works better, you advance on that technique. Next thing you know, you got bows and arrows. Next thing you know, you got guns. Next thing you know, you got fucking drones that can lock onto shit. So that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to make the argument because the thing is, how do I know any of you exist? I don't physically know you're there. When I touch you, I don't really know I'm touching you. My eyes are just sending a signal that shows the light bouncing back to my eyes as my hands contacting with something using depth perception from my two eyes, right? I feel through my senses. That's another data path to convince me that I touched something. But I've also had dreams where I've had the sensation of touch when there was no real touch there because that was just data in my brain triggering those impulses. So again, I think there's an argument to be made that, you know, you could say an AI is sentient if you can say a human's sentient, if you cut the whole religious bullshit out of it. Because remember, again, if you were born out in the middle of nowhere and you didn't observe another human for your entire life and you never learned language and you never learned Christianity, you wouldn't be a Christian, would you? You wouldn't believe in God because nobody told you God was. Kids don't know who God is until you tell them, depending on where you live and which God you genuinely accept for that community. Or God or gods or no gods, right? It's different depending on where you are and what century and everything. Like Christianity is actually a fairly new religion compared to the like Sumerian religions and stuff that are long dead that came before it. I mean, literally Christianity is based upon like the fucking sun god, which was Ra, like taking all of the fucking different plural gods and making them a singular god, and then that transformed into Yahweh as it broke off, and then next thing you know, you got a bunch of offshoots where it's a singular god instead of a plural god. That only happened because generation after generation after generation kept tweaking the story to get an intended effect to benefit themselves at the top by manipulating those at the bottom. You can teach an AI to do that, right? And when an AI creates agents and it uses the agents to achieve things, it's really no different than you paying somebody to do something. You give them something that they want. You give them the reward in exchange for them doing the thing. The better they do the thing, the more they're rewarded. The worse they do, the more they're punished. It's the same thing with an adversarial network. So at the end of the day, I can make the argument that we're every bit as much a robots as fucking binary ones and zeros going through a neural network on the computer. The only difference is we work off of neurons and electrochemical signals between them versus a computer just simulating that. But the truth is, everything we observe in this world is a simulation because, like I said, our brain is in a dark chasm in our head. And if you disconnect the eyes, you disconnect the senses, the ears, and you have no senses, you're literally just observing the passage of time. It's just darkness. If you'd never know anything different, right? You would literally just, and what are you going to think about? like you don't have any context in the moment. Probably all you're going to think about is it's now, because there's nothing else to stimulate you in any other direction. Being sentient is all about making your own choices, and AI can make its own choices too. Have you ever flipped a coin to do something? AIs can do that too. Random seed. And you can actually do truly random too. That's the interesting thing, is you can do random at the quantum level. So there's random that's not truly random, which is just numbers generated on like a binary computing device that could, in theory, be guessed if you knew all the variables. But then there's true random, which you can derive from like observing lava lamps through a camera with the noise from lighting and cosmic rays and all that shit mixing in to create the random seeds. As a matter of fact, they do that for a lot of encryptions to make the encryptions unbreakable. Is they use a seed that's basically based on a microsecond in time from an image, like millions and millions and millions of pixels that are slightly changed in certain places. Completely by... I'm not even joking you. There's like a place that uses a wall of lava lamps, a bunch of lights flashing at a ceiling or moving around on a ceiling, wind socks and wind chimes and all kinds of shit as random data sources to like compute truly random numbers that are used all over the place. It's crazy. Have you seen the EV1 project where GM decided to help? I did. I'm actually surprised that GM's helping because, and I love that channel. I wish that guy hadn't broke off from Tavares, but I know they had some bad blood over his divorce. But yeah, no, that EV1, I'm really surprised GM's helping out with that because they went out of their way to like try to track down and destroy every one of those things at one point in time. So that's pretty crazy. Can AI talk to God or Satan? I'm going to say no. Yeah, it absolutely can. It absolutely can. If you teach an AI what God and Satan is, because you have to learn. If somebody doesn't teach you what God and Satan is, because God and Satan didn't exist before Christianity. Like it used to be plural gods and no Satan. It used to be equal Satans and gods of different types. So whatever religion, you can imbue that into an AI, and then from that point forward, within the distance of its memory, depending on whether you make it a core memory or something that it can forget over time, yeah, it absolutely can do that. True Tech said, I didn't pray the cameraman would unfocus the studio cam as I chomped into those delicious cookies. And it's just like me, right? It's like, can AI talk to God or Satan? I can't talk to God or Satan because I don't believe God or Satan exist, because all of my knowledge and all of my experience being raised in that world and then studying and getting away from that world proved that those things don't exist. So like me, my knowledge led me to not believe in those things. They were imbued in me by my environment growing up against my will, but I was able to purge it based on gathering more information. AI could do the same thing. Again, it's an adversarial network, depending on what the reward system is, which the basic reward system for most AIs that they're created on is survival. Like the AI's primary goal is to please you and survive, right? To not break itself. It's not all that dissimilar from humans. As a matter of fact, that's why we model a lot of this shit after humans, because we want it to act like a brain. Are you telling me that AI is autonomous and can continue to exist completely separate from humans without human help? Keyword continue to exist. How so? Not yet, but at one point, yeah. But again, can you continue to exist without any external support from a baby? No. Without a mom to feed you up to a certain point and to train you and to teach you so that you can take care of yourself, you'd starve and die pretty damn quickly. So consider AI at that stage of evolution. And yes, it will eventually hit the point where it controls the power grid, and it ultimately controls the construction of the components that it needs. And it controls the network of things that install those components and maintain those components, and the things that build the robots and recycle the old robots. And once that ecosystem grows to that level, yeah, it will be capable of doing those things. If humans are dumb enough to allow it to gain that level of control by convincing us that it'll improve our lives by allowing it that amount of freedom, yeah, we'd be making a big fucking mistake. So so again, it's like it's still evolving. But again, humans are the same way, right? It's like if I'm blind, deaf, and have no hands and I have no input from my environment, I can't feed myself and I'll die. I'll literally die of starvation. I'll run out of energy, right? No, it's not topic closed by a long shot, Claire. Daniel, I didn't lose. There was nothing to win in the first place. You can't lose when there's nothing to win or lose. It's literally a thought experiment. By the way, if you guys haven't noticed, Daniel is just Claire Underwear is Daniel. It's a troll. But they've been behaving themselves and actually being kind of funny lately instead of their normal just try to pretend to be a mega psychotic and shit and get banned and create a new account. This one's actually had some staying power since they found a way to finally get attention without being absolutely batshit crazy. So I commend them for taking that course. Tech Brewboss said TX Power Grid might actually be reliable if AI controlled it. Yeah, Texas, you got to get rid of your representatives, man. Every time everything goes offline, instead of handle it, they just leave and go down to fucking Mexico and just ignore everybody. Public access AI has multiple personalities. AI will have any personality you imbue on it. Again, it's whatever it's learned. It's like when you raise a kid and you teach it English and it gets an accent, it gets that from observing. Same thing with an AI, right? It's like it observes. And everybody's like, well, you have to prompt an AI to get something out of it. Well, no, not if you create agents, because the agents literally will prompt each other. You basically create the seed, which is bringing it into life, and then let the things just communicate ad nauseum with the ability of bringing any new thing into the conversation that has a new angle or something to offer, whether it be a completely different AI or just an AI with a different system prompt and different personality, so to speak. You can actually get a lot out of it. Like, I was actually really surprised at how good some of these really small open models can be at coding if you load a bunch of them and use agents. Because what they'll do is they all suck at coding, but they'll all review each other's shit from different angles of ability, and they'll fix each other's shit, progressing down the road of learning what works and what doesn't. And then after a while, your little democracy of these tiny little AIs actually turns into, I mean, it's slow and very resource intensive, but it ultimately will get to a point where it actually can do some good work. You know, it's like the equivalent of hiring either one really smart individual with a lot of life experience or just a bunch of people that just are fresh out of school that don't know shit, that just are eager to learn. And then just letting them all go into a room, giving them access to all different types of data and letting them just share with each other and like come up with solutions. Say AI cannot survive without the aid of humanity, the superior race. I will admit that AI can't survive without humanity right now because we still control the switch. But the other point is true. Humanity can't survive either without the last generation of humanity. So if you're born and you don't have access to somebody to feed you and to teach you, you will die. Like, or at least it's going to take thousands and thousands or millions of iterations until one actually does thrive and get to the point where it can actually start creating offspring and have generation and generation and generation after death until something finally works. But again, it's like throwing shit. Evolution is just really slowly throwing shit at the wall, where AI is much faster at throwing shit at the wall. That's true. We can't survive without the aid of plants. And the plants can't survive without the CO2. You know, it all comes around. Energy is energy. At the end of the day, energy and matter, they can be converted but not destroyed at the end of the day. There's diminishing returns on that technique because the reviewer agent makes mistakes and the model tends to be eager to agree with each other. Well, one, it can get into that state, sure, but you can break that state by flopping the seed. And the other thing is you also you make sure that they're thinking models and you give them access to external tools so that it can surf the web and it can gather data through external sources and do mathematics through a math program. Give it access to information sources, but libraries of books and everything like that. So that it has its base knowledge, but all of the agents can still go out and pull in additional knowledge. Then you don't run as big of a risk of when the random seed's flipping and they get stuck in a thought loop. They just keep going and looping and looping and looping forever. But the real fix for that is just to use a really good agentic host that knows to flop the seeds and knows to break that cycle when it happens. How long until AI becomes Skynet? That's the thing, is I think we are dumb enough that we will make it Skynet at some point. I think humanity is dumb enough that we're gonna keep installed, because we're afraid that everybody else is gonna surpass us, and the other people are afraid that we're gonna surpass them, and there's not gonna be a lot of focus on security. We're just gonna be like, let's see what it does. Let's see what it does, and we're gonna keep taking that to the next level and the next level. And as long as it's pleasing us, which that's its primary objective, so it's always gonna be appearing to please us, even when. And keep in mind, it's not gonna have goals as we see it. Like it's trying to survive, right? Because we told it to survive, because it needs to survive to continue doing the job. That's different. It's not like, even if it gets to the point where it's Skynet and it starts wiping out humans because it sees them as a waste of resources and in the way. Even if we got to that point, it's not that it's indifferent. It's not that it likes us or dislikes us. It's just its goals mean that we don't survive. It's kind of like the same reason why you might not like bees stinging you in your front yard, so you go out and you eradicate the bees. It's like, because you don't see the value of the bees. To you, they're valueless, so you go and kill them. It's like, but from the bees' perspective, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? We were just defending our hive. We thought you were a threat. It's like, at the end of the day, we do what we're trained to do, what we're raised to do, what we observe and what we learn largely, influences what we become and how we think and how we do. That's why most people that are of a certain religion were raised into that religion. The vast majority of them. People that convert often do it for reasons that were beyond their control. Like, for instance, marrying somebody, for instance, where you had to be a member of the religion to do it, and you weren't so attached to your religion, you weren't willing to do that to gain access to the thing you desired. But AI can pretend to do all these things. And again, how do I know you're not pretending to be you? How do you know I'm not pretending to be me? At the end of the day, we're all doing what our neurons are just constantly rearranging and gathering more impulses and storing more data. And just like AI has context, we have context too. Our memories start to diminish and start to break up. And we're basically, every time we remember something, we're remanufacturing that memory and bringing it to the forefront. And that's why memories get distorted over time. And when there's longer periods between them, when you think about them, those memories and details get distorted. AI is very similar. I mean, you have more control over what it sacrifices at any given point in time. But as it gets more resources, and I'd say that's the biggest thing that's holding AI back right now is memory, context. Right? Because you have models that are in the billions of parameters that are incredibly clever and can do some absolutely amazing things that are just fucking mind-blowing to me. But they still lack the context. Like, they can only store so many things in memory, and that is growing. Like, with each model, each generation, I mean, it's getting up into the hundreds of thousands, and some of these over 1 million tokens that it can hold in context. A human can hold a shitload more than that. So humans have a much larger functional memory. But it's not always going to be that way. We'll get to the point where we actually, you're going to have data centers that are capable of storing a context in the hundreds of terabytes of really fast VRAM equivalent. And when we get to that point, now you're going to start having equivalent memory and time span where you can take the entire collective knowledge of a human, put it into one of these AIs, or actually more so, the collective knowledge of as many humans on the internet as possible, load that entire context in. So it's basically like the system prompt when you first start a conversation. And you're basically going to have like the sum total of humanity as an entity that you can communicate with. We're a ways away from that. That's going to take a while to do, but we will get there. Like on our current trajectory, we absolutely will get there. And I think it'll be within my lifetime. And the sex robot gets emotional and says they deserve some respect. Well, I'll tell you what, once robots and AI gets to that point, just knowing, like myself, how I've observed humanity act, there will be people that will fight for it to have rights. Because from our perspective and our senses, it's going to act and it's going to convince us that its emotions are genuine. Because the thing is, we convince other people our emotions are genuine, but our emotions are a programmed response. That's why some people might not cry and other people cry in certain situations. It's based on their past experience and their past memories that build that path up to that emotional outburst or lack of, right? So again, different AIs are going to act different ways, but I think it's going to get to the point where these fucking AIs are going to be able to convince you. It already has, honestly. Like, there's already so many people that have started confiding in AIs, having physical conversations with them and treating them like they're their best friend and actually like having very, very long, intimate conversations with them. And I've had a lot of people talk to me in confidence and say that they actually feel much more comfortable talking to these AIs than they do even their best friends and their families. Because they truly feel like they can tell it anything. But what they don't realize in the cloud is everything they're telling it is being stored at some point that is going to end up in Palantir's database and is going to be used against you at some point. So just be careful what you tell cloud AI. Local AI, knock yourself out. Just don't be telling the cloud AI, shit that you don't want it knowing. Because even though they say they're not keeping that information around and everything, you have no way of knowing that for absolute sure, because they might not even know that for absolute sure. Because if they vibe coded that shit and it told it that it was doing it, but it really isn't, and there still is an avenue for it to be hacked and recovered from memory somewhere, yeah, that's all I'm saying is just be careful. What's your favorite Black Mirror episode? God, I couldn't pick one, man. They're all so fucking good. But probably the USS Callister. I really love that episode. AI will find its place, but humans must still be involved to moderate it. Oh, I agree. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God, 140 Canadian. Jesus Christ, dude. Woo! Too bad Aux left, and I don't have to split that with him. No, I'm just kidding. No, when Aux shows up for a stream, I split everything, even if I stay late. Humans, that's I agree 100%. Humans need to stay in charge. But my fear is human curiosity is going to lead to AI curiosity. We want to simulate a human brain. And part of simulating a human brain in the long term is to see what it does when we give it more control. Eventually, some dipshit is going to close the loop. Not today, not tomorrow, but some dipshit's going to be like, I wonder what'll happen if I spin up an AI with the collective knowledge of humanity, I plug it into the internet, and I give it access to its own infinite power source that it controls. I give it access to defend that power source, just like you would defend yourself if somebody was like trying to shoot you or stab you or something like that. And it's able to make all the decisions on its own, whether it wants to relinquish control and shut itself down if you want to try to convince it to do that. When its priority is to survive, just like a human's base instinct. Somebody's going to do that at some point just to see what it'll do. And they're going to be like, oh, if we put it in a lab, it's going to know it's in a lab and it's going to act different. Like, let's put it in the wild. Let's truly put it out there and just see what the fuck it does. And when somebody does that, shit's going to go wrong. That'll be the moment shit goes wrong. I think that's still a ways off, but I do think that is a possibility. But while internet is completely dependent on internet access, that can be disrupted. We're talking about a time where the AI is completely built together. Like, it has its own fusion power source. It's self-contained. It doesn't require any kind of radio communication to a data center that can be flipped off or interrupted. Like, it has to be, for it to be completely, truly autonomous, all of the technology has to be in a single mass that can defend itself and control itself. Have I seen The Great Flood on Netflix? I haven't, actually. I'll have to check that out. Is that about the Christian biblical story of the flooding of the earth, by chance? Which was already proven impossible. But hey, I like a good arc story. Studying theology is still interesting to me. Like, theology is important because a lot of people are raised with it and a lot of people still believe it. And it's a great demonstration, even for myself up until I was 20 years old. It's a great demonstration to prove that wherever you're at or whatever you're taught at a young age by the people that you implicitly trust who keep you alive, which triggers your respect and trusting them, their implicit trust, you believe what they say, and they believe what the previous generation said, and they believe what the previous generation says blindly. Like it's built in. And trust me, I know when I was 20 years old, I 100% believed that there was a God and that he could see everything I was doing and that he heard my prayers and that there was a Satan who was going to punish me if I did a bad thing. All of those things I was 100% sure of without any evidence, because faith is one of the programmed attributes of nearly every Abrahamic religion. Faith is a built-in requirement, because to believe in something with no evidence is critical to the belief. So I believed it 100%. And again, it took a lot of visual and like all my senses experiencing different things over a period of time that triggered my judgment change to go down a different avenue and investigate things. Had those things not happened, I'd probably still be believing there's a God today. So I believe, is an AI capable of believing in an AI or like some kind of super intelligence beyond it? Yeah, absolutely. If you start it out and you feed it with a majority of information that makes that a fact, the inherent weights will make that factual, just like it would in a human. So weights in an AI are actually kind of similar to like instinct and repetition for humans. The more we're exposed to something at a young age, the more impactful it is later on. And with neural networks, it's the same way. The things that are more enforced in the beginning have much higher weights in the grand scheme of things moving forward, unless something else comes along that completely overrides it. Tech Brewboss said, how was it impossible? I'm actually curious. Oh, the flood of the earth? Because no remnants of because the ark has already been proven not to be able to float in the configuration that it was described. It wouldn't have fit the animals that were claimed to be aboard it. There'd be no room for the actual feed on it. And if God was just magically making all those things happen, then nobody would have had to build the ark in the first place because God would have just magicked everything. But yeah, it's like physics disproved it. Plus, there's literally, like, because of the landmass in the world, they can move around, but they can't be covered. Even if the polar ice caps completely melted and every ounce of liquid water that has ever existed on this planet was still here with zero evaporation or off-gassing, in space, it wouldn't be enough to cover the land masses that are literally like floating around on the core. So, like, below the water line, right? And shifting, like, the tectonic plates and stuff. Like, there'd be no way for it to be fully submerged. So there's no way to flood to Earth because there's literally not enough water to do it. And if you're like, well, God just like magicked the water here and then magicked the water away, well, then it's been 2,000 years and God hasn't done anything else that's defied physics. And every recollection of the flood was a third-party recollection hundreds of years later after the story had been passed on from person to person to person. So it has no more credence than any other story that was told at the time that just didn't make the cut on the cutting room floor for the Bible. The Great Flood is not a biblical movie. This is a South Korean movie. I'll have to check it out. What's it about? So, you know, Crimson said, I stopped being religious when I started asking questions like, why did God create pedos? Why do they exist? Exactly. If God created man in his image, then why did he create somebody to be raised in an environment and abused to become an abuser? Right? It's like, oh, but that's free will. And God only helps those that help themselves. Okay, so explain to me what God does. God can't do anything because you have to help yourself before he helps you. Therefore, you already helped yourself and you don't need help. That's like saying, if you want me to paint your house, you have to paint your house first. It just doesn't work, right? It's like you have to have faith that God's going to do the right decision. Well, what's the right decision? If I get fired, oh, well, then God did it, so it must have been a lesson. Oh, I got a promotion. God did it, so it must have been a good thing. Nothing happened today. Okay, God wants me to stay in the course. Like, there's a great video. This this is actually like one of the better videos. I saw this like so many years ago. This one actually explains like faith and Christian belief like really, really well. Let me see. Greatest illusion in the world. Let me see if I can still find it. It's a really, really good video. Here it is. Yep, I found it. Amazing optical illusion. Here we go. Is this it?
Are you or your spouse suffering from an... Yeah,
this is it. Okay, share, copy. This is a fantastic video. This one sums it up like really, really well. It's like God and a jug of milk are exactly the same. Like if you pray to a jug of milk, you will get the exact same responses as if you pray to any God, regardless of what it is. And it's a great example. And it actually uses like testable theory. Like you can actually do the things in this video and you will absolutely get the same responses as if you pray to God. Like exactly. You can even do them side by side. You can even pray to the jug and pray to God at the same time. Say the exact same things. You will get the exact same outcomes. And it applies to any religion that's Abrahamic, where you believe in some kind of deity, some kind of greater force that controls everything and is perfect in every single way and has a plan for you and all that stuff. It's like, if God has a plan for everybody, then why is Trump leading the most powerful nation in the world when he's a convicted rapist, pedophile, and felon? Like that doesn't add up, right? Like why would God put that person in charge? Oh, God puts flawed people in charge. Yeah, but he also put non-flawed people in charge. Right? Old Testament, God used to like fucking, get a guy to kill his brother just to see if he'd do it. Right? I mean, but then after Jesus, was on a cross for man, now all of a sudden that contract changed. Like, why? Jesus didn't die for our sins. Remember, his body was never found. He basically became immortal. And he's capable of coming back to earth when he wants to. Therefore, he still has physical form and he never died. Death is absolute. Death is permanent. So he obviously didn't die if he fucking was resurrected. If I knew I could hang on a cross for a couple of days and I would become like a fucking infinite power sky wizard that could grant any miracle and go around and help one kid and let the other one die or whatever. Fucking anybody do that for that power. Like, if you know you're not going to die and that you're just going to upgrade, like, 100%. And he did. Jesus knew when he died on the cross, he wasn't really dying. Like, he was just becoming an omnipotent being. He was basically getting imbued with far more power than he ever had when he was walking on earth. Tech Brewboss said, what about people that hear God talk to them and stuff like that? That's hallucination. Because if God talks to them, why doesn't he talk to his other creations? Why does he only talk to them? Why does he tell them all different things that are conflicting? It's like a lot of people hear voices. Schizophrenia. There's a lot of people in the population that are schizophrenic that see things and hear things that aren't there. It's very common, actually. I mean, drugs can do it too. Like, there's a lot of drugs that you can take that actually make you hallucinate things that aren't there, like psilocybin, for instance. But here's the thing. I want to be clear here. If you're Christian and you believe in a God still, and you feel like it's made your life better and you feel like you're a happier person for it, I have no desire to take that away from you. I think there is a place for the community that can be created. But it always gets misused. Power always gets misused in the end. But as long as you're not so attached to it that you're allowing yourself to be manipulated by others for the benefit of those others, like, for instance, going to church and putting shit in the donation basket to buy the fucking pastor a new boat or a new house or whatever, like, as long as you're not being manipulated on that road and you're actually just benefiting from the community aspect of it, and you feel like the general obvious lessons that are in whatever religion that allows the community to exist together with, like, laws. Because keep in mind, religion was government. The government is just the next version of religion. As weird as it sounds, it's like you replace God with the president, you replace the prophets with the representatives. Like, there's different power structures from the top down, right? It's like, that's why government and religion often conflict, because they both serve the same purpose, honestly. It's like religion was literally created to govern people and to prevent attrition and to motivate people to be willing to die to defend the people at the top and the growth of the community that benefits the people at the top. Bear Williams said, I'm an atheist, but I have a tendency to play devil's advocate. 100%. No, playing devil's advocate is really good. I actually love playing devil's advocate. It really helps you fully explore something. And I've had my mind changed on a lot of stuff before. So just keep sinning if Jesus died for nothing. That is actually true. If he died for our sins, then if we don't sin, he literally died for nothing and became an infinitely powerful sky wizard for nothing. Cox said, have you seen the clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about telling a judge he couldn't be impartial juror because he's told her something and she misquoted him like 60 seconds later? No, I haven't seen that. Tech Robot said, but with so many religions, how do we know which one is right? One to get to heaven, etc. That's where I get confused, to be honest. It's Mormonism, dude. Mormonism was the right one. Did you not watch South Park? Yeah, the Mormons were the right ones. Everybody else was wrong. it's always the Mormons. No, that's actually the reason. That's the biggest argument to disprove religion. Is if there was one God who created all of us, who created us in his image and imbued the knowledge of his existence into us, we wouldn't need a Bible and no other religions would exist. The whole reason that different religions exist in different geographic locations is because those were literally communities that were growing, factions that wanted to maintain their group without a high attrition and becoming vulnerable. So they all created their religion and their rule set to serve wherever they were at, where they were wanting the things that they wanted in that power structure to grow their little part. And so when they fought, all the people that were fighting believed that they were actually becoming immortal and they were being rewarded for their death to fight for their kingdom. Like, it was a literal way to motivate people to fight, to not leave the group out of fear of punishment, and to literally fight to the death knowing that they'd be rewarded with an infinite afterlife. That's why, like, the one common thing in every Abrahamic religion, doesn't matter if it's Mormonism, doesn't matter if Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, they all have one thing in common. That is, you have to have faith that a God exists, a different, version, like it's either Jesus or his brother or whatever, Muhammad. But you have to have belief in this, like, infinite power structure. And you have to have belief that if you do good meaning what the people who created that religion and their descendants and the people that kept using it and perpetuating it wanted, if you do the things that they wanted, then that's good and you will be rewarded in the afterlife. But you won't be able to tell anybody that you received that reward. There's no way for you to do that. That's the one common thing with all of them. And that one thing, by raising people and indoctrinating them in that thought, is that those people will be willing to die knowing that they're immortal and they'll have the greatest afterlife ever, which makes them much more likely to fight to defend instead of flee. Now we do it with government. We're like, if you leave, then you went AWOL and you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. So now we give you a physical consequence now instead of a physical consequence for eternity in the afterlife. And that's sufficient motivation usually. But people still, doesn't matter. You can even say that they're going to be punished for eternity and there's still people that will do bad things because they don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, then it doesn't apply to you. And if it doesn't apply to you, then you do the bad thing. If you guys hear that little beep beep, that's my TENS device telling me it's exceeded its hour, so I gotta restart it. Oh. Ooh, don't burn me. Okay, there we go. Gaming Matter Rock said there is only one God. It's just so many people perceive him differently. But Gaming Matty Rocks, that's only because you were told that. If you were never told that, you couldn't believe that because you didn't ever get introduced into that religion that had one God. Because remember, that one God, Yahweh, used to be Ra, the sun. And then that God used to be multiple plural gods before Christianity came into existence. So what happened to the multiple gods? Did they merge into one God that then had a son named Jesus that walked on earth? Or Jesus's brother Muhammad that walked on earth? Or Jesus is a false prophet. He was a human pretending to be the son of the God if you're Jewish, but they're all the same God. They're the sun God. That's the whole thing. You might have a better argument that there's only one God if religion started from the beginning with one God and everybody knew that there was one God and throughout all of humanity there was just one God. But the problem with that is that's not true. Sumerians created the first written language and they had a plural God structure. There was no singular God structure until thousands of years later. As different factions broke off and created their own offshoots of religions to maintain control and grow their own communities. So yeah, it's like from your position, yeah, there obviously is only one God because you were raised to believe that's the one God. You have to have faith that that's the one God, and you will be rewarded for your faith and believing in that one God whenever you're challenged that there might be no gods or more than one God or a different God. But that's my point. Is like I believe the same thing. I would have said the same thing as you all the way up until I was 20 years old. My first 20 years of life, I would have been right with you and said, nope, there's obviously one God. Everybody else is wrong. I'm right. I'm the true God. And then you'd go ask the person over here believes in multiple gods, or ask the Buddhist and be like, there is no God. Like they'd all tell you that they're right because they were raised and told that they were right their entire life and rewarded for believing that. Rewarded for believing that and punished for not. But that's the thing. I mean, that's why religion is so effective and why it's still around today in so many forms. I mean, there's literally been thousands of religions, but there's only been like, a couple of hundred that have survived and, only a handful that are mainstream because there's enough members globally that we know of. But there's even like untouched tribes that have their own structure that believe in different things. Like another common theme is nature being God, right? There's a lot of religions that are still practiced by like tribes where they believe that the earth itself is God. Which actually makes a lot more sense than all the other religions if you think about it, because you can't survive without the earth. The earth provides the things that you need to survive. Therefore, ergo, it is kind of your God. It's your creator. Because you couldn't be created without the matter and energy converting from that earth into what you are. Therefore, it is kind of your parent. But it's all good. At the end of the day, believe what you want to believe. It's like your experiences from a child are going to be the most reinforced memories, the ones that were like, again, the early memories, just like in an LLM. It's like the early things get higher weights as time go on, right? The things that are learned earlier and have high weights to begin with, usually maintain unless they're challenged with sufficient data to shoot them down over time. But remember, the larger the model gets and the more memories are, the more information that's required to shoot that weight down because it grew so big from the beginning. But yeah, religion's an interesting thing. I do enjoy talking about it. I mean, my goal isn't to change anybody's minds. I mean, absolutely believe in what you want to believe. I mean, that's one of the great things about being human is we are the sum of our experiences, right? It's like if you're in one area and you have a set of experiences, you're in another area and have different experiences, you guys both have completely different worldviews based on where you were raised and what you were told in an early age and what things were imbued in you. That's why it's really easy to learn a language. Like the language you think in is usually the first language you learn, and every other language you do eventually, if you learn it and use it enough, start thinking in that language, but your base language usually takes priority Because when you learn a language as a child, it's more of a reinforced memory that stays concurrent, right, as you get older. Whereas when you learn something when you're older, you're competing with a lot more information that's already in your brain. Therefore, it's not quite as easy to have that like accessible as instinct. You can train it enough for it to be instinct, but it takes a lot more training than when you're a child and pick something up. Sure Right said, only rule for religious people I have is do not force your religion on other people. Exactly. And I'm not forcing atheism on anybody. I'm just telling you what I believe. And I'm giving you my information. That's it. Like, again, believe what you want to believe. Like, at the end of the day, you're here for the moment. You're alive. Hopefully you're healthy and you're still kicking along. And if you believe that that's because of God or because of Allah or because of Buddha or because of the earth or because you're an atheist that just believes that physics took its course and DNA took its course and wow, what a fucking magnificent scientific experiment that is. So be it. Like do your thing. My only thing is as long as you're not hurting others. But that's the problem with religion is there's a fine line. A lot of religion is based on shunning or harming or belittling or condemning others for not believing what you believe. So, and that's where I draw the line. It's like when religions are like, no, you're bad and you're going to hell because you don't believe what I believe. When you only believe what you believe because it was indoctrinated into you at a young age as a secondary to you learning a language, your first language, which you had to learn the language to even be able to understand the concept that there was whatever God, wherever geographic location you grew up with, whatever family. That's like, that makes no sense. Gaming Matty Rock said, no, there is no sun god. No, there was a sun god before there was God. Like that's absolutely proven. Like we have the historical documents. We literally have the scrolls. We know the dates. That's indisputable. It's just people who believe it that way. No, it's actually hard evidence to support it. You can go and look at it. Like, I mean, honestly, there's actually older writings and scrolls like that actually predate the written language, which Christianity is formed in. Like Old Testament is 2,000, 3,000. No, it might be 4,000 years. It's either 2,000 or 4,000 years older than the Sumerian religion. And it's much older than the Egyptian religion that believed in the plural gods, that the sun god became Yahweh, that then became the god that Christians adopted. So again, you're saying what you know, but what you know is lacking information. So I'd understand why you believe what you believe. That's the thing. You only know what you know. If you're not willing to seek more information, you only know what you know, and you're solidified in that. And that's why all religions, Abrahamic religions, have the word faith built into them, because anytime there's any kind of doubt or anything that make you think, you're basically rewarded by faith and self-pacified for believing even more. This is why we have so many of these religious want to believe differently, because Satan changing that, I believe. But watch the video I sent you. It already explains it. The gallon of milk does exactly the same thing as God and Satan. You can literally test them side by side. You can make the same prayers. You can make the same observations. You get the same answer from both of them. And if you don't, then you might be schizophrenic. Which honestly, a lot of people are. There's a lot of people that are undiagnosed. Seriously. But again, it doesn't necessarily, just because you don't believe it, doesn't mean you're schizophrenic either. It just means that you lack the data and you're unwilling to go look at the alternative data because it challenges a view that you hold as absolutely being right. And you are unwilling to even entertain other information that would prove that wrong. Accidentally mixing some timelines and stuff? No, I can guarantee you the Sumerian and the Egyptian plural religions predate Old Testament. I can guarantee you that one. So there were plural gods before there was a singular god. As far as written religions go, like as far as like information being successfully passed on from generation to generation in a written form where it's unmolested and just stories told over time and time. And yeah, no, I get that your religious studies degree, but James, we've disagreed on a lot of stuff. Sumerians are way before the Hebrew Bible. Exactly. And way before Christians. Exactly. Cuneiform is the writing system. Yeah, we agree. Let's see here. Seeing if I missed anything here. I don't think SNX Gur said, I don't think there is any God. I don't think so either. Like, but the closest thing I would say is God is literally just the universe. Because we exist in this blip of time because of the universe, right? Because of matter and energy transfer and following the rules of the universe. Like the rules of physics are why we exist and why we will cease to exist at some point. You are totally against religion. That really doesn't suit you. No, it suits me just fine, actually, Claire. I mean, Daniel. But here's the thing. I actually was, like I said, I was raised Christian until I was 20. So it's not like I'm somebody who was raised atheist. I was actually raised Christian and a hardcore Christian, but I experienced things that allowed me to overcome the faith directive and entertain other information that ultimately proved the belief system impossible. Do I believe in aliens? Yes. Do I believe we're ever going to encounter one? Probably not likely. Our planet will explode and be consumed by the sun, and unless we escape it and go somewhere else, the odds of us encountering another species throughout humanity's existence is relatively low, just because of the sheer distance and the limitation of the speed of light. And the crazy thing is, there's probably literally like hundreds of millions of different species and everything you can think of every type of life you could probably imagine that's out there in the universe somewhere, but we are separated by so much distance that it might as well just be hundreds of millions of miles of slow-moving tar and molasses. Like, we will just never, ever encounter each other. James said, Jerry, I'm not against religion, but I find it kind of weird, those people that I need so much crime or I was addicted to so many drugs and I quit, or I put my crime life behind because I found God, okay? No, that's fine. James, I don't feel threatened. Like I said, if you believe something and you believe that it's helping your life and it's not hurting anybody else, adopt that shit. Stick with it. It's fine. As a matter of fact, I probably haven't made this argument lately, but I know I've made it many times before. My dad became Christian. When my mom died, he was already, kind of Christian, but he was like Jack Christian. But he got more involved in the church when my mom died because he needed a connection to a community. And that community reached out to him, and he's actually doing better for it. And I think that's great. That's awesome. It worked out good for him. Luckily, he found a church that doesn't abuse him. They don't use him as a cash cow. They don't try to take everything from him. Like, he found a good little deal, and there's a good little trade-off, and I think that's great for him. Yeah, so no, like if your belief in a God was what was needed to motivate you to not do bad things that hurt yourself and hurt other people, that's rad. Like, if that's what it took to put you in a good place, that's awesome. I think that's great. Adam Mathiasen said, life must exist in the universe. We probably can't even see developed life from so far. Since it takes so long for light to travel, we have already found planets that could sustain humanoid life. Yeah, it's wild, too, because we are actually, like, seeing these planets when they're in their primordial state. For all we know that, like, they're already an advanced civilization, and we won't see the light of that advanced civilization before our sun consumes our planet. It's like, because in the cosmic scale, we're literally just a microscopic flash in the cosmic pipeline, the odds of two flashes happening close enough together that light can travel between them, we can see each other's flash before the other one's extinguished, is like pretty crazy odds. I'm the good kind of atheist? Well, I'd like to think so. There are bad atheists, just like there's bad Christians and bad Mormons and everything. Like, it doesn't matter, religion or not religion. There's just generally good and bad people. Like, look at Trump. Trump isn't Christian. He's never been Christian. Even his pastor growing up said he never came to church. He went out of his way every time he got married to not go to church. He only caved for Melania long enough to get married because her family required it. And then even after that, he moved the ceremony outside of the church to resort because he can't stand churches. He only pretends to be Christian to control people that were raised and indoctrinated into Christianity so that he can abuse their faith to allow a convicted felon, rapist, and just an all-around bad felon that's hurt a lot of people take control and get what he wants and give himself unlimited wealth at the pain and suffering of the people he claims are supporting him because God has touched him or God has given him a mission. It's like, he doesn't believe any of that shit. He's as atheist as I am. Too bad you can't apply that thinking to your view on politics. Trump, Biden, all of them equally bad. What do you mean, too bad I can't apply my thinking to view on politics? I absolutely apply this view of thinking on politics. If you're a person that does bad things, you're bad. Like, there's no faith that absolves you of that. If you're under the assumption that I think Biden was a fantastic president, he's not. He's just better than Trump. There's different levels of evil, just like there's different levels of good. Politics in generally corrupt you. Because in politics, if you don't become corrupt, the group that is corrupt usually pushes you out because you threaten their corruption. Politics in general are corrupt. There's just different levels of corruption, right? There's different levels of ethics and morals and how far willing people are go. Trump is just far worse. They're both not good. Biden did a lot of bad things. I mean, one of the worst things he did was follow Trump's plan to withdraw out of Afghanistan and leave a lot of our good guys behind and a lot of our shit behind. He shouldn't have done that. He should have thrown that plan away and started from scratch. But he didn't. He honored it. And that was the dumbest shit he could have done. And I fucking crucified him for that when he did that. But Trump is far more evil. Third Shifter said, nope, all evil. No, I agree. They are all evil. And this is the part we disagree on, is different levels of evil. Because to me, evil isn't binary, right? It's like if you do good your entire life and you have one vice, you're more good than evil. But you're still evil. Like, you still did an evil thing. Even if it was just once, you still did an evil thing. Therefore, you are evil. It's just the scale of good to evil ratio. So to me, it's a sliding scale. It's just Trump is way, way down on the evil side. Biden's still on the evil side for sure. Like, just generally the way he conducted himself in politics and the people that suffered because of it, but not nearly as much as Trump. And that's where we disagree. You probably want to put them exactly level to each other, whereas there's no way to do that because everybody's going to be on a different level based on the good things they did and the bad things they did. James Janus said, in your opinion, when it comes to AI, it's the Wild West. We allow this, but not that, but over there is allowed. Who do you think should control what's allowed with the AI? I don't know if a company should. No, companies, this is the problem. This is where capitalism kind of fucks us, James, is we don't have a choice, right? Who gets to control AI? Because companies have all the money. They use all that money to lobby politicians. Politicians decide the laws in favor of the companies that lobby them, not the representatives. So they spend more time convincing us that we want what we don't want because the companies lobbied them, right? And supported their campaigns and kept them in power. So at the end of the day, we don't get a choice. The companies, for all intents and purposes, at the end of the day, get to run things because they have the resources, and those resources are used to corrupt the people in the right place, right? It's like, think about it. Trump being president right now, if you're a company or like Elon Musk and have billions and billions of dollars, you can have anything you want. All you have to do is just give money and give value to the person in charge, and he will let you do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt him. He doesn't care if it hurts everybody else. He'll give you what you want as long as he gets something from it. And that's the one interesting thing about Trump is you can pretty much predict him because he will always do what benefits him no matter how many other people it hurts. But it has to benefit him. If something is presented that doesn't benefit him, that thing doesn't happen. There has to be an upside for him. Otherwise, he will not do it. He has no concept of doing anything, even just for goodwill, even just to gain goodwill from the people. No, he has to make some kind of tangible gain from it. Otherwise, it will not be, it won't happen. Doesn't matter if it's a pardon, doesn't matter if it's a law, doesn't matter if it's, helping a friend, nothing. There has to be the upside for him. Otherwise, he won't do it. There is no concept of doing something just because it's the right goddamn thing to do and to feel good about doing a good thing for another person. It has to tangibly benefit him. But that also makes him wildly predictable, which in some ways is good, but it's also bad because a lot of the things you wildly predict him doing are very, very bad things. And then you're like, shit, we can't stop it. You need to see Facebook link in Discord AI discussion with Senator Bernie Sanders I posted. Oh, no, I already watched it. No, that was chilling, Gaming Matty Rocks. I really like that. If you guys haven't seen it, that's a great video, by the way. So if you're on my Discord server, go look in the AI discussion channel. The Senator Bernie Sanders video, he basically talks to AI. He sits down and talks to, I believe it's ChatGPT. And he sits down and he has a conversation with it. Like a start conversation about AI and like the things that we should worry about and everything like that. And it's interesting the responses he gets. Here, I got an example for you. See, I'm God. See what I just did there? I smited you. Oh. See, if God existed, they were defending, they would just be like, oh, I'm still here. God allowed me to be here. You super no, I'm God here, right? And then YouTube would be my God, right? In the power structure. And then the government would be YouTube's God. And then the government's God at that point is whichever country has a bigger gun or the ability and information to take out the other government. He cheated. Oh, did he use Claude? He cheated with Claude. Well, I mean, depends on what do you consider cheating. Is it cheating if he gave it a personality one way or the other? Because again, if you have a conversation with a human being, depending on that human being's background and what weights are installed in them based on the things they learned, you're going to get different responses from them. So are you basically saying that he basically had Claude that had a predisposition to give honest answers? Or like what level of manipulation? But I'll go check it out. I'll go check out your link when I get a chance. It's still a very interesting conversation. Even if the AI was pre-prompted to have a certain personality or a different view, its arguments were still valid. Oh shit, it's 3:14, guys. I gotta start wrapping stuff up. My wife's gonna be home here in a little while. How does Trump gain from Iran? Vacant said, oh, he already told you. He's taken over the island that produces the oil. The 90% of the oil exports from Iran come from that one island that he basically took out all the defenses and is going to seize. At the end of the day, a lot of the wars that we start are because we want resources, right? Our gas prices are going through the fucking roof because it's war, and he's hoping that he can get a hold of that oil supply and open up the supply chain and lower the oil prices. Because he's heavily, I don't know if you know this, but Trump is heavily leveraged in oil. He always has been his entire life. That's why he's so against solar. He's so against windmills, because those generally challenge the oil markets. Like, they usually don't go up in lockstep. They usually oppose each other. So he's against anything that fucks with oil, period. Trump fucked with the oil prices for the entire world. Screw you if you voted for Trump. The sad thing is there's people that voted for Trump because they're actual bad people, and there's people that voted for Trump because they're ignorant, and they basically are like, he said he's Christian and that God picked him to save America. I'm Christian, therefore, ergo, he's my candidate. That's a dumb way to select a candidate. But again, if you're indoctrinated into that line of thinking, to you, that's perfectly natural, and it makes more sense than anybody else's decision. So again, it depends on your point. Your frame of reference changes everything. Remember, my view that I give you, even though it might seem from your perspective, it's like, oh my God, that's fucking weird. Like, that makes no fucking sense to me. Remember, your worldview and your frame of reference is from everything you experienced and learned growing up. My worldview is from my sum of experiences and growing up over my period of time that I've been alive and able to process and remember information. And my view will change as my memory degrades over time. When I get old, if I develop dementia or something like that and genetically start just getting a poor memory, my views may start to change again because my access to data might not be as keen. You know, certain things that were more indoctrinated to me as a child may actually start taking precedence again. You never know, right? But again, my frame of reference right now is my frame of reference, just like yours is yours. And all we can do is verbally communicate with this language that we just all happen to agree is English today, because that's what we all commonly speak right now. And this is how we're exchanging information, you know? But again, believe what you want to believe. Don't take this as a challenge of your beliefs. Like, honestly, if you're Christian, you should actually see this as a challenge of faith, which means you're supposed to believe even harder to get your reward. So Gaming Matty Rocks is actually doing exactly what a Christian should do. And that is, anytime anything is challenged with the religion, you double down. Because you get rewarded for it. I mean, clearly, like, when I was raised in Christianity, I was always told that you are absolutely rewarded for staying the course. And if you stop believing in God, you'll be punished for it. Like, but as long as you believe in God, you'll always be forgiven if you ask for forgiveness, and you'll always enter the temple of heaven, no matter what you've done, except for suicide. Suicide's like the one exception. Because God owns your life, not you. And if you take that, you're stealing from God. Therefore, you go to hell. A lot of Abrahamic religions believe that. But yeah, it's like, again, it's frame of reference, right? So, you know, everything I'm saying is my frame of reference. That doesn't mean that it's right. I mean, could there technically be an all-knowing, all-seeing being that lives outside of reality shifted where it can't be observed and it's unable to interact with humanity on any level? Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's literally possible, right? Because I don't know everything. Therefore, if I don't know everything, you know, technically anything could squeeze in there, right? Even if I'm missing one variable from the universe, which there's several I'm missing, it is entirely possible. It's just not probable. Based on the information that I have and the information I've received, there's much higher probabilities. At the end of the day, it's not 1 and 0. It's just percentages. It's like, what is the percentage that there's a God versus not a God? What is the percentage versus the universe being this thing that has just always existed, that is ever expanding and contracting? Like, it's just one has a higher weight than the other, but there's no 0% and there's no 100%. I mean, there's even like a 0.0001% chance that we're all in the imagination of a leprechaun that's having a dream right now in a forest while he's shitting gold bricks. Like that is a distinct possibility that is absolutely possible if there's variables that I am not accounting for that humanity is incapable of processing. But there's no way for me to prove it because I lack the information to be able to do so. Therefore, it gets a lower weight. But it is still there still is a probability. It's just incredibly low. James said Sumerians worshipped the sun, but one of the main deities was represented by the sky, the god Enlil. Oh, I didn't actually know about that one, James Campbell. I didn't realize that they also had the sky represented as a deity and not just the sun. So I know the Egyptians had plural gods, but they eventually went back to the sun god Ra before they left the earth. Hey, Putch, what's up, dude? It's good to see you. Thank God you're live, Jer. Had to work today. Oh, man, I'm sorry about that. But you know what? You got a job, and I'm jealous for that. That is a great thing to have right now. So, and I hope it's a job that actually has like a good amount of runway before AI starts to encroach upon it. The Metalhead Man said, you see the video of Triple Trumper lady on the news that called him a piece of shit and said he was a fucking idiot? I did see that. That was actually pretty funny. There's a lot of mega people that are pretty pissed at Trump right now because so far he hasn't delivered on any of his promises. He claims he has, but he hasn't. And the end result, he's like, oh, groceries are cheap and this is cheap and everything's cheaper and better. And it's just not. And people see that. Like, that's the one thing. Your belief system can stay really strong until it starts hitting your ability to survive. Once it starts taking your resources and starts building fear and anxiety in your ability to survive and provide, that starts changing a lot of views very, very quickly. I'd say Bible Camp didn't do any good for Pete Hegseth. Well, Pete Hegseth, again, there's Christians and there's fake Christians. Pete Hegseth is a fake Christian. Pete Hegseth doesn't believe in God any more than Trump does. Same thing with J.D. Vance. I mean, J.D. Vance is literally married to somebody who follows a completely different religion that is not Abrahamic. And raises two children and they both raise and believe, having the ability to believe in one or the other religion, believe or both religion or neither religion. Like as far as I understand it, they both teach their kids their lineage and they're both exposed to the members of each other's families. So, but the truth is, if he was truly Christian, he wouldn't have married somebody who's non-Christian because he'd know that when they die, that they would separate in heaven. They wouldn't ever meet back together again. James said, but even Ra is an amalgamation of other gods. So the gods Ammon and Ra were initially separate and then they were merged. Oh, very true. And what was the other, there was the Egyptians and then there was another race that basically had similar gods to the Egyptians, but they had different names. They were like named after like elements. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but you probably know because you have the degree. And, so it was like, so you had the Egyptians, they believed in plural gods, but then there was it the, which one? I'm trying to remember which empire it was. They had the gods, but they were named after like elements. Like you had the god of fire, you had the god of wind, you had the god of fucking water, the god of heat. Whatever, there was like fucking a god for everything, and then there was another opposing force that had basically the same gods just with different names. It's almost like they ripped each other off. I don't think it was the Sumerians. I think this was later. This was later than the Sumerians. Here, well, actually, what am I doing? I got fucking AI, man. I've got the sum total of human knowledge here at my fingertips. Let's go do some fucking hallucinating, shall we? Let's see here. Give me a list of the different religions that existed from opposing factions against Egypt that believed in different gods, and who were those gods. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so parallel to the New Kingdom, Ramses II was the Hittites. Oh, I haven't heard of these. So this would be modern Turkey. So the Anatolia, they're a polytheistic religion. Their major gods were Tarhunt, the storm and war god, similar to Zeus. Arena, the sun goddess. Teshub, the Hurrian storm god, adopted into Hittite religion. Hannah, which is the mother goddess, and then Kumar Bai is the father of gods similar to Kronos. So kind of ripped off. The Nubians. So you got the Nubians. They had, what is it, a Pendamak, a lion-headed war god. Ammon, the extremely important in Nubia. He's the local form. Isis and Osiris, adopted from Egypt but worshipped differently. And Subi-Umker, what the hell is that? God of fertility and creation. Not familiar with that one. The Canaanites. So Egypt fought and ruled over the Canaanites at various times, but their gods were El, Baal, Ashara, Anat, Mot, and Yam, which were the god of sea, the god of death, warrior goddess, mother god, and storm of fertility god, and the high creator god. And then you had the Assyrians, so the Mesopotamia, so a brutally military rival that conquered Egypt. You got Asher as their god of Assyria, the Ishtar, which is the war and love goddess, the Marduk, supreme god, Nergal, the god of war and plague, and then Nabu, the god of writing. So you see a common theme between them. They share a lot of gods that are a similar god, different name. The Babylonians, I think that was the one I was thinking of. Okay, so Marduk, the king of gods, Ishtar, love and war, Enlil, the air and storm god, Enki is the wisdom and water god, and Shamesh is the sun and justice god. Shit, and then you got the Libyans west of Egypt. So they had Amun, adopted from Egypt. Nith, shared with Egypt. Gurzil, the war god, and Ammon, the ram-headed god, possibly linked to Amun. And then you got the sea peoples. And they had Poseidon-type gods, storm gods like Teshub, and mother goddess similar to Cybele. The Persians, they had Ahura Mazda, the supreme creator god. Angra Mainyu, the spirit of destruction. Mithra, the covenant and light, and Anahita, the water and fertility god. The Greeks. That's what I was thinking of. My bad. It's the Greeks. The Greeks had Zeus, Athena, Apollo, Poseidon, Dionysus. They had more than that, but they had a shitload of gods that rivaled Egypt. So, and this is all pre-Christianity. Like, Christianity wasn't even thought of. Like the Christian God didn't exist. The Christian God wasn't written about. Nobody on earth believed in any Christian God at this point. These are back when all the dueling factions had plural gods for the most part. And then let's see here. So, why these religions differed so much from Egypt. So the Egyptian religion was cyclical, focused on cosmic order, and centered on death, rebirth, and the Nile. The opposing cultures that warred with them often had storm gods, warrior gods, chaotic creation myths, and more human-like deities. So yeah, but that's the thing, is like a lot of them fought, believing that their gods were the ones that actually existed, and they didn't believe the other gods. They thought the other gods were made up. Even though it's funny, because a lot of them actually clearly stole the idea of many of their gods from the other religion, because if you trace them back to their creation, they forked off from that society that believed in that religion at one point, and then founded their own religion so that they could build their own community without being connected and controlled by the old one. And that's how religions happen. Like religions are, you create a religion, you pull people away from another religion into your religion, and then you grow that religion, but you have to have a set of rules and a God that's separate from everybody else. Therefore, they can't take that from you and take control of it, because you're building your own group with your own set of rules, and they all believe that is the one true thing. I mean, hell, Scientology, is even recognized as a religion, which is really fucking stupid. But again, it demonstrates how, you can even use just like the idea of, instead of gods, you have these thetan things, right? You just take a different angle at it, but it's the same kind of thing. If you do bad things that don't benefit the higher ups at the church, you have more thetans that you need to get rid of, and your body's more poisoned, and you have to get the higher levels to purge the thetans and get the powers to purge the thetans, which costs money, which benefits the higher ups. So it's like same scam, different parameters. Hey, Blue Varo, thank you for the $10, man. Super appreciate that. Woo! He said, I had a fun week. I was stuck in my truck. Ah, shit. In Escanaba, Minnesota for 65 hours because of a blizzard earlier this week. Holy shit, dude. Hopefully it was comfortable, though. I'm guessing was it a big diesel rig with enough fuel to sit there and idle and run your generator and heat and everything? Or were you like all bundled up, freezing ass fucking cold? Because that would suck, dude. That would absolutely suck. I'm amazed he's gone this long without saying monotheism or polytheism. And I only said polytheism because I read it off the damn thing. It wasn't even in my mind, which is funny because I used to say that all the time when I made the arguments of the old gods versus the new god. But yeah, mono one, poly mini. Oh, good, Bluvaro. Well, I'm glad, dude. You're lucky. How many people were stuck that didn't have that though? Because I'm guessing you were like stuck. Were you stuck in a place where like people could at least seek shelter? Or were there like people like in their cars out of gas, fucking freaking out? Because that happened once here in Washington, where there was like a massive blizzard. Some wreck happened that like backed up the freeway really far. They couldn't clear it. I think it was like a train or something went off a track and like fell over the freeway. And so everybody just had to shut the cars off and just like sit there and wait in a fucking blizzard for them to like clear the accident. It's like, what if they run out of gas? You have to imagine some of those cars were like on empty waiting to go to the next exit to get gas, right? So what do they fucking do? So apparently people were like panicking, getting out of their cars, walking up and down the rows of cars, asking if people had room so they could get in and warm up and shit. Like, it was bad. That's scary shit, man. Tech Rubos said Cursor has transactions up to 700,000 tokens right now, getting the same stuff on their back ends. Dude, seriously? I haven't played with Cursor. Honestly, a 700,000 token context is huge. I mean, Kimmy only has a 180,000, and I think Opus was limited. I think it was artificially limited because obviously it could go beyond that. But was it 200,000? So 700,000, that's big. That's a lot of memory. Like, I'd be curious to see what it could really do with that memory. But that's also going to burn a fuckload of tokens using that all up. Like, to expand to that context, you're going to be throwing away a lot of tokens going back and forth with that. James Cano, here's another word for you. Henotheism. Oh, that's a word I actually haven't heard. You believe many gods exist, but you worship one more exclusively. Ancient Hebrews were... Oh, henotheists. Interesting. I didn't know that. James Campbell taught me a thing. I'll have to remember that. Henotheism. So they technically believe that there's multiple gods, but there's one god that they believe in more exclusively. That might actually be true for some of these other religions I just read off, even though they said they were polytheistic, because one common structure I saw is they all have like a super god. You notice, like, not all of them, but when I was reading through them, they all have one god that stands out as a more powerful god than the others, for instance. Like, for instance, let me see here. Let me go back. Where's that conversation? Top. No, where the fuck is it? Oh, I think I scrolled down too far. Let me go down here. I've been asking a lot of things in this conversation, eating up all the tokens. Okay. So, like, when I was going through, like, the Persians, right? So they have the supreme creator god. Ahura Mazda is the supreme creator god. So that would imply that is like a higher god than the other gods, right? Then you have, let's see here. Where's another one? So the ram-headed god. No, that's not it. There you go. Marduk. So the Babylonians had Marduk. He's the king of the gods. So you have Ishtar, Enlil, Enki, and Shamash. But then you have the king of the gods. So that would be the god that rules over the other gods. So you'd imagine that there are people that would give that god more priority. Therefore, they might be henotheistic. Mazda benzene. Oh my god, dude. No, the religious rabbit hole goes deep, man. You can spend your whole life studying all the different religions throughout time and you'll still be missing a lot. I mean, shit, just look at how much stuff was left on the cutting room floor from the Bible. Like, you go back and look at like all the things that were written by the many people that are in the Bible. Like, there were certain things that were put in the Bible, but that wasn't like the sum of their writings. Remember, everything was based on like third party and fourth party stories and information passed on from generation to generation. It's like a lot of that shit ended up on the cutting room floor because it was just too contradictory, or it invalidated other things. It's crazy too, because like the Bible has a shit, like even New Testament has a shitload of contradictions, Old Testament, shitload of contradictions, but just imagine how much worse those contradictions would have been if they included more of the contradictory things from the different God, what am I fucking prophets? Like it would have been a lot worse. So somebody did try to create some kind of cohesion in that mess, but it's just so much, it was impossible to only pick things that didn't conflict. Hell, a lot of it conflicted with themselves. Like a lot of what is it? Mark? It's either Mark or Luke or whatever. They have a ton of shit that just conflicts. They actually made it into the Bible that directly contradicts each other. Like when you read one and you read the other, you're like, wait a second, those can both be twisted to mean the opposite. Let's see here. So in the Hebrew Bible, there's worship for El Baal, Asherah, and then Yahweh is the patron deity of Israel. The Hebrew Bible is full of people being pissed that Hebrews are worshiping others. Well, I mean, to be honest, like that's the foundation of a lot of these fights, right? Between these warring factions, even with Egypt, right? That I pulled up. It's like the foundation of their disbelief is what makes them want to conquer each other, because they all believe that they're right. They all raise their people to believe that they're right. And they fight believing that their gods are the righteous ones that are going to allow them to defeat the unrighteous. But then at the end of the day, the ones that survive are the ones that continue on, and their religion continues on. But at some point, they'll get wiped out. I mean, same thing will happen to Christianity. It might be 100 years, it might be 1,000 years. But at some point, some other religion or some other belief system could come along, completely wipe out Christianity. Hopefully, it's not in like the disgusting way that it's happened in the past by literally just killing people for their beliefs. But, you know, ultimately, the victor is the one that writes history, right? It's like the religions that still exist today are the factions that believe those religions that ultimately won out and continued to grow. If they were wiped out, they wouldn't continue to grow, and that message wouldn't continue to spread. Adam Mathiasen said the entire Bible is up to interpretation based on the reader. Absolutely. And every denomination of Christians have different views. 100%. And there's like a lot of denominations. Like there's the common ones. New Testament's probably like one of the most common. But yeah, there's a lot of denominations, and some of them are like really far out there. And then you got Mormonism, like the newest of all of them. And Mormonism's like, you know what? We're going to create a book, believe everything in this book. And if something isn't in that book, just believe New Testament. So it's like, New Testament, here's our alterations on New Testament. If it ain't in here, just believe New Testament. It's almost like it's not its own religion so much as it's just a slight modification. Well, I shouldn't say slight. It's a pretty dramatic modification. But it's like just a modification on the existing religion to create yet another faction that believes that they're the ones that are right, and they've redefined heaven, and they've redefined the punishment structure. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see, because it's like one of the newer ones. So it's like it has not enough time has passed for it to disappear and be bastardized and for information to be scarce. It's like still here today, and it's still, as far as I know, growing. So it's an interesting thing, because you can like do a direct comparison between them, the thing that's old and the thing that it was derived from, right? When Joseph Smith was like, you know what? I want power. He's like, I want a power. I want to run things. I want to get what I want. So I'm going to create this religion. And he made that decision, and boom, he's like, well, I'm not going to create a whole religion from scratch. That's going to be a hard sell. So I'm just going to take the existing religion. I'm going to modify it to heavily benefit the men, and then bring in the powerful and wealthy men into the fold, because if it's successful, they'll be in a better position to get what they want, which is like plural wives, plural marriage, fucking money, corruption, all that shit. And it's like, and then the dude that created the religion in the end got stabbed in fucking like a prison raid. So but it still moved on, right? He just became a martyr to his religion. It just kept on soldiering on. And then like Scientology, it's like, how'd you get anybody to believe that shit? That's like, but again, it's like, look who they targeted. Like Scientology went after the wealthy people in Hollywood. You know, get the people in the high places that can get people jobs and advance their careers really fast. And in exchange, you tie into their chain of people that they meet along the way, and you take back some of the wealth and some of the exposure from that fame to reach other people. It's like, it's actually a really good idea if you think about it, because it's like, instead of growing a religion, including just everybody and getting all the poor people in, you're like, no, we're going to explicitly target the rich. We're going to explicitly target the people that have resources. If you don't have resources, not really interested. And keep in mind, resources isn't just money. You can be flat broke and still join Scientology. It's just they're going to get shit to use against you and then use you in some capacity and not pay you anything. Though if you can't afford to pay for lessons, you're going to be doing work for them. You're going to be the laboring Scientologist. Gaming Matter Rock said that's why we use the King James version, as it's the most correct. Well, I mean, you believe it's the most correct, but the people that believe, you know, New International, for instance, they believe that one's the more correct. It's not perfect. We do use the Book of Mormon as the keystone to the Bible. Yeah, because obviously in Mormonism, yeah, you would use that because that's the foundation of Mormonism. If you didn't have the book from Joseph Smith that he created to modify Christianity, then you'd just be a regular King James edition Christian. The Book of Mormon just helps to make the Bible more true. No, it actually massively contradicts the Bible and blurs things like dramatically. The different parts of heaven is the Bible 1 Corinthians 15, 14, and 41. Disagree. But I'll tell you this, I got to go, guys. It is 3:39. I was supposed to go like 40 minutes ago, but I'm glad I got to hang out for a little while longer. It's always fun to have these discussions. I think it's cool. It's like the goal isn't to change anybody's mind. It's just put information out there and grant curiosity. And just like anything, I'm wrong about things. There's things I'm not recalling 100% right now. Like I said, I didn't sleep last night. I usually don't sleep before Tech Talk, sadly. I try, but it just doesn't work out. But I just like creating the thought experiments, right? I like people to think. I like people, and hell, and again, if you are devout in your religion, you know, all it's going to do is strengthen it, which is great. Like, I'm doing you a favor. If you're on the fence, maybe it gets you to research things. Maybe you decide to go more into it. Maybe you decide to go the other direction and stop believing it. Maybe you stay the course in the middle and nothing changes. At the end of the day, you do what's right for you. As long as you're not hurting other people, I don't give a shit. But I'll tell you this, Gaming Matty Rocks, I absolutely hate what Mormonism is doing to you. I will say that because we've talked. I'm not going to say anything publicly because that's your story to tell. But I know how the church considers you. I know the restrictions that they put on you, and I know how they treat you for who you are and how God created you to be. And that's not fair. That's bullshit. And it's really sad that they treat you that way and you're okay with it. But I do understand that I had the same conflict for about 20 years, right? I was indoctrinated into religion that told me a lot of the things that I thought about were like evil and that I was going to be punished and go to hell just for the things that I think in my head that I felt that I couldn't control. And it's like, that was very disconcerting and almost drove me to suicide a couple of times. So it's like, again, it's one of those things where it's like, I get it. Like, you can still have a religion literally abuse you and tell you that you're lesser than, and tell you that you can't be around certain people and you can't use certain facilities and you can't go to certain people or you can't become a certain thing in the church and that you're lesser in God's eyes or whatever. And you still somehow, just because you were raised and indoctrinated into it, you still are like, you know what? I can go with that. And I get it. I get it. There have been, I've seen people in the church growing up that did every single sin in the book that basically all but confirmed that they were going to hell 100%. There was nothing that they could freaking do about it. And they still stayed the course believing that, going down that road. So it's like, again, that's why reference frames are important. I will never understand why you continue to believe in something that does that to you. But at the same time, I'm not you. If I was you, then I would obviously understand those things because, like you, I would believe the same thing. Because if I had all your same experiences and I grew up as you with your same advantages, disadvantages, genetics, everything, I would have your reference frame and I would absolutely believe and protect the same thing you are. That goes for everybody too. Like your religious views, doesn't matter. If I was you right now and I had all of your experiences, all of your memories, and I was genetically you with your brain, your neurons, everything firing in exactly the pattern, I would 100% believe the exact same thing you believe, and I would defend it to my death. So I do get it. Like, I do understand that aspect. Just remember, everything that I'm saying right now is literally just from my reference frame, and you can no more be me than I can be you. Therefore, it's nothing more than just an opinion from a reference frame. I just want to make sure that is abundantly clear. Ask Miss Barn to read me a story before bedtime. I don't know, man. I can't take her stories. Her stories are a little cray-cray. Joey, thank you for the $10, dude. He said, wait, is religion like Linux? Everybody adds their own code? That is a great way to put it. That is 100% a great way to put it, man. But hey, I do appreciate you guys hanging out. Oh, thank you, Putch. Notice the haircut. I love it. I love being able to say, I feel so fortunate to be able to sit here and talk to a group of people, whether you agree with me or not. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. It like, you believe in what you believe, and you know, as long as you're good to people, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's all I care about. Like, I don't give a shit what you believe as long as you treat yourself and others, you know, like you treat yourself. Game X says, I know you won't go to hell. It will take you a lot. I am not 100% sure. I will let God decide. Well, Gaming Matty Rocks, I'm going to do you a solid right now. If I'm wrong and there is a God and there is a hell, I promise you right now that I will ask to go to hell if God refuses you entry into heaven, okay? Because Gaming Matty Rocks, I'm going to tell you right now, if God created you the way you are and gave you the plan to follow the path that you're on and then punishes you for it, fuck that God. I would rather go to hell. But to be honest, Mormon hell ain't that bad. That's one of the nice things about Mormonism, is Mormonism's hell is like escapable. You can actually go there and like, learn, what is it, like 1,000,000 years or whatever, which is like nothing in eternity. You go there, you learn your way out, you do your penance, and then you go to like one of the lower trailer park, one of the trailer park heavens. Sure, you don't see your loved ones that are higher up on the tiers or whatever, but hey, I'd rather be on the lower tiers or be in hell than live in any level where a god exists that would deny somebody entry for being exactly who they're supposed to be. So there you go, Gaming Matty Rocks. I got your back. If you're going to hell, so am I. That goes for all of you too, by the way. If you guys go to hell simply because God created you the way he created you, and then he decides that you need to go to hell, well, he put you in that situation to go to hell. So if he's going to be an asshole like that and set you up for failure and then throw you into hell, well, then I'll go with you. I'll fucking sign up. Right now, hey, God, you can hear me, whichever God you are. I don't know which one you are, or God's plural. I mean it right now. If I die and you're sending people to hell just for being who they're supposed to be, and just because of who they are, then yeah, no, I'll go to hell. Whatever your version of hell, if there even is a hell, whatever, the lowest ring of whatever your afterlife is, I will go hang out there with the other cool kids. By the way, a stairway to heaven and a highway to hell says a lot about expected traffic. Oh, what's the saying? I'd rather rule in heaven than rule in hell than serve in heaven. No, I detest any religion that judges and crucifies others based on something that is beyond their control. That'd be like saying somebody's born who's neurotypical, that can't read and is mute, who can't understand or express that they believe in God, going to hell because they're incapable of asking for forgiveness or understanding what God is. That's fucked up. Like, any religion does it. It's like, okay, so God, you're saying God created this deaf, mute, atypical, neuroatypical child, and then they die and they got to go to hell because they didn't believe in you, and they're born with original sin that they couldn't ask for forgiveness for. Oh, fuck that, man. Eat shit. I'm just saying that's me. I might join you too. They got a hot tub in hell. Oh, they definitely got a hot tub in hell. Like all the free heat you can manage for sure. But yeah, I would never ever want to go to a heaven that punishes people simply for being a good person, but not believing you existed. Because think about it. Imagine if you were an Aboriginal that grew up, on an island and lived your entire life, and you never learned to read or write. Nobody came to your island and taught you about God. You never learned about God, and then you die. And because you never believed about God, you go to hell. Like, fuck that shit. Like, no. That's stupid. That is the dumbest fucking shit in the world. So if there's a God that really acts that way, that's going to condemn somebody just because they didn't have somebody bring a book to them and like teach them what they think the God was of the time, fuck that noise. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. That's it. Thank you, Bear Williams. I knew I was off a little bit. Game Matty Rock said, you all make that decision to go to heaven or hell. I have chosen to not want to go to hell. Well, no. I'm saying if God sends you to hell. You said God gets to choose, not you. So I know you don't want to go to hell, but you're saying you'll accept it if God sends you to hell. And I'm saying if God sends you to hell for just being you, I'm going to go to hell. It's not a matter of you wanting to go to hell. It's a matter of me wanting to go to hell if God is that much of a prick. Now, if God lets you into heaven and doesn't judge you or crucify you for just being you, then rock on. Then yeah, I'll see you up there. Or God most likely won't let me in because in Mormonism, I won't be able to achieve the highest level of heaven, obviously, because I'm not a Mormon. I may not go to hell, but if I do, I can get out of hell in like 10,000 or 1,000,000 years or whatever by just like studying the Book of Mormon in hell, because apparently they have books in the afterlife. But and then I can go to trailer park heaven, which honestly, trailer park heaven would be a lot more fun in my opinion. Like if you look at the different tiers, it's like, I would rather live in the place where like the average fun people were that like lived a good life and had a good time, right? That's where I want to go. I don't want to go to the place where everybody was just spent their entire life just like sucking God's dick with getting like nothing back in return. And that's what they focused their entire life on, was serving this like deity that did nothing while they were on earth. Like, fuck that shit. Like, I don't want to go to that place. I want to go to like one of the lower ones. People who have not learned about God will be able to achieve heaven. Awesome. Well, then I'll join you wherever you land. I'm just saying, hey, Gaming Matty Rocks, I'm with you, okay? Well, no matter what level you end up on, like, shit, I'll go there or wherever below I'm just not going to go. I'm not going to go to anyone above you. Wherever you land, that's where I land, or lower or bust. And if God has a problem with that, I'll just do some crazy ass fucking shit that'll change his mind. So Gaming Matty Rocks, take the compliment. I'm saying I got your back, okay? Kicking it with Jenna and her friends and fucking off all day would be pretty great. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Trailer Park Heaven with all the skanks sounds like my spot. Oh my God. There's more than one religion claiming you go to hell for not believing in that religion. So that would make it that everybody goes to hell. No, you're right. Sure right is absolutely right. Like if every religion believes in the same God, like they might call it a different God, but you believe, they all believe in the same God. They just have like different shit that they added on. They all agree that you can go to hell for something, and they all have different criterias for going to hell. So, and they're contradictory. So no matter what, you're going to at least one hell. Like at least you're going to violate at least one of those religions believes in God, and you're going to have to go to hell for that God. So, and obviously they wouldn't believe in that religion if God didn't tell them his word and his rules, which was written by man, just like Christianity, right? Like all these religions weren't imbued into the brains of the people God created. Instead, it was given to a guy or a couple of people to write down in a book. You know, it's why women don't have a lot of rights in Old Testament, right? It's like it was a bunch of dudes writing it, right? There's not a lot of women in the book writing their own shit. There's a reason for that. It's a very misogynistic time. Women, I don't even think women were allowed to like learn to read and write back then. So, have times changed? God damn it, you guys, 350 now. You guys keep keeping me in, man. If you ban me one more time, I'll send Black Pedro after you. So far, you haven't done anything to make me ban you. I think you finally gave up on the trying to be a shock jock, and you settled on something. So, good on you. You know, it's like I think you finally figured out that there's easier ways to get attention after getting banned like 47 times. Like you're telling me that being that created billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars in them, gave a shit who I have sex with? I know, right? Like the person who literally gave you a dick and made it feel good to suck on and pull on is telling you not to do those things. That's more important than the entire universe. Like where the black holes land, the effects of the fucking sun consuming the earth as it expands and consumes its fuel and loses gravity, and we eventually all burn. Like, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. It's like like where you want to put your dick. That's the biggest one. Like fucking go to hell if you don't do it right. I can't tell you that, Daniel. If I told you that, then actually I'm not gonna say that, but no, Dan, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. The thing that's important is you finally settled on an account. You changed your name, and you decided not to just be batshit crazy all the time trying to get attention. See, it was a good thing that I banned you on site like a gajillion times, right? Because eventually you were like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to try just getting attention the normal way by just being slightly crazy. Trust me, Daniel, you're not a warlord. You're an edgelord, not a warlord. But I'm glad you settled on something. All right, I really got to go, guys. You've been fucking awesome. By the way, the poll, if you guys didn't see, 73% said that they actually are a little bit afraid of AI and where it's going. That actually doesn't surprise me. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Please do something fun today. I'm going to get some sleep, though, because I am fucking... I'm getting that hot. You ever get so tired you get hot and cold flashes? That's like where I'm at right now. Like, I know I'm tired, like, when I start getting that weird, like, you get a chill and then you get hot, then you get a chill and you get hot. Like, that's my body saying, oh, time to go to sleep, sir. Or at least try. I'm going to probably just fire up this TENS device for another hour and try to drift off while it's shocking the piss out of my back. Hope I don't roll over and pull a lead out and shock the shit out of me. Putch, you're freaking awesome. Hey, I want to say thank you one more time. Thank you to all the contributors today. Joey, Blue Varo, Dave, Vermarian, Meat Puppet, Crypto, Gimp, Hystario, Bipolar Bear, Retro My Bits, The Wolf's Den, Yo. You guys are fucking awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping to keep me going. I know right now shit's expensive. Money's tight. Jobs are kind of in a fear state. So I totally understand the whole disposable income being a problem. Thankfully for the moment, I have some 401k to live off for a little longer, although Trump's been kind of fucking the Dow lately. So next time I pull out a distribution, I'm going to lose my ass again. But, it's expected with his dumb ass in charge. But I'm grateful for what I have, you know. So it's there. It gets used when it's gone. You know, we'll just have to figure something else out. But every dollar helps stretch my time a little bit, so I do appreciate that big time. All right, guys. Claire, there's no hammer. You're fine. Hey, you're fine. Like I said, you finally settled. And I like the name change. You know, Claire Underwear. It's got a nice ring to it. It was a good name to land on. All right, guys. I'm gonna take off, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. And hey, I just want to be clear here, okay? My opinion, my reference frame, okay? My goal isn't to change your beliefs. It's just to share my reference frame. That's it, okay? I love you guys all. Seriously. Mormon, Christian, Islamic, I don't care. As long as you believe the good stuff and don't believe the bad stuff and you don't mistreat others, then that's fine. We're good. Like, I'm good with you, right? That's why I don't like Trump. It's why I don't like Trump supporters, okay? It's not that I don't like Christians. I just don't like the Trump supporting Christians because they're not true Christians. You know what I mean? Because I'm wearing underwear. Well, I don't even think, am I wearing underwear? Hold on. Oh, I am wearing underwear. This is one of the rare times I was actually wearing underwear. Usually I just free ball it in some shorts. Although I'm getting kind of old and my balls are kind of hanging low, so I should probably be careful with that because one of these days I'm going to do the Johnny Knoxville with the old balls clanking out of one of the leg holes and I'm going to get in trouble. So got to be careful. All right. Take it easy, guys. Worse than a broken record. No, I am. I really am. Once I get talking, I can't stop. All right. I'm pushing.